Hello everyone and welcome back to Baggage Claim D&D. My name is Matt, I'll be DMing, we'll be resuming the Vagabonds campaign tonight. Picking up where we left off, very exciting, and beginning the next leg of our adventure together. I am, of course, your Dungeon Master Matt, and I am in space with a new red light tone, I guess. Above me is Abigail, playing Kanan. Next to her is Varus, played by Jevin. Beneath is Zarius, played by George. Next is Harriet, played by Haley, and above is Anira, played by Sky, who is moving. So we'll have interaction somewhat. Yeah.
I'm here.
Exactly. There we go. We're very excited to get back into it, and we of course just have to harangue Canada Dry for still not reaching out, but. Yeah, thanks to everyone for joining us in the last game that we played, hosted by Sky, called The Legends. You can find that on our YouTube. We're not cool enough to have a link yet, so you just have to search up Baggage Claim D&D on YouTube, and you can watch it there, along with all of the past episodes of this, and get yourself caught up, because it's quite a journey. So, unless anyone has anything that they would like to say, or do, I guess, before we start, if you have anything you want to do. Okay, we're going to jump in with a recap. Since it's been a couple of weeks, it's kind of lengthy today. I hope that's all right. All right, so last time on the Vagabonds. Last we left off several weeks ago. The party had answered the call to action, choosing to venture from the stable and welcoming city of Falderstep across the vast expanse to the fighting city of Renovash. As you approached, the tall and verdant green grass gently gave way to a wide stretch of sandy desert. Harsh winds blew dust and grit, but you continued on, eventually finding yourselves in the midst of a heavily eroded but definitely constructed objects. Little more than misshapen pillars remained at first, but as you trekked onward, you found the statues to grow and shape into recognizable forms. Eventually, you found the constructions to represent humanoid figures, towering over you hundreds of feet, each wielding massive weapons, and each with an inscription that had since been obscured. You pushed forward, undaunted toward the immense cliffs that loomed in the distance, and as you did so, you found the end of the statues, culminating in a handsome, elvish man you later learned to be the enigmatic champion of the city, Nas Min. You quickly entered the city and began searching it to find your way into the professional fighting league, and soon learned that all of Renovash circled around this league, and Nas Min in particular. You charmed your way into an amateur fight by speaking with the red-haired elvish administrator running it, and managed to impress one of the 4 prefects needed to earn their recommendation into the professional league. The Vagabonds fought hard through several challenging matches, defeating your opponents and avoiding death via the environmental and monster hazards placed into the arena with you, and eventually won an invitation to meet with Nas Min himself. Along the way, you witnessed how the entire city seemed to be swept up under his sway, somehow wrapped up in a fanatical service to him. Nas's charm had even wormed its way into Varus' cousin, Lashana, causing her to join the unscrupulous and thug-like red vests of the Order of the Fifth. You learned a great deal from Balthazar, the human war mage who ran Balthazar's forum, and discovered that he too wanted to destroy Nas Min from his position of power. However, things wouldn't be so easy. An old enemy, the Rakshasa Corzin Fatedraw, arrived in the form of a longtime friend, Fang, and attempted to assassinate Zarius, before escaping through a planar transport to a non-magical realm known as the Cipher. You soon followed and heroically killed Corzin, his body dissolving to ash, before returning to find that Fang and Varus' sister, Drusilla, had been kidnapped by the same, and that his death was only temporary. Quickly deciding to venture into the Hells to rescue them, you set out with Balthazar's help on the boatman ship along the River Styx. A ferocious and hysteria-inducing fight followed as you explored the Hells, desperately trying to avoid death and to find your captive friends. While there, Anira was captured, and you were all forced into a bargain with a Cambion named Visir, who herself claimed to be Corzin's daughter. In exchange for Corzin's Ring of Power, Anira was returned, and you were escorted to Corzin's mansion for a final showdown. A harrowing battle followed, where many of you brushed close with death, before you ascended from the hells once more, only to find a hidden cost, the boatman's toll. One life for many. After a moment of deliberation, Feng volunteered himself as the payment to secure the rest of your freedom. The boatman accepted, and you all said goodbye, returning to Renovash with some choice words for Balthazar. A tense dinner with Nas soon followed where you learned of the real purpose of the championship fighting. Nas was training soldiers to fight in the Shepard of Fire's secret army against the Clendathian Empire. Your final opponents, the Iron Legion, wholeheartedly jumped on board with this, while the Vagabonds were hesitant, quiet, and dismissive of both the Iron Legion and Nas Min. The dinner concluded and the stage was set for the final fight that would determine whether you were champions or whether you would die in defeat. The next day, you prepared yourselves for battle and ventured to the arena, where you found not the Iron Legion, but Nas Min and his prefects ready to fight. Balthazar promised his help since you were working towards a common goal, and you fought against the best of the city, and only narrowly escaped the jaws of death time after time, taking down the prefects one by one until only Nas remained. Balthazar had not shown up. During the fight, Nas revealed that he was more than just an elf, but that he had been several important people during your time at Renovash. The administrator of the Amateur League, your helper from Palace Escape, even Varus's cousin, Lashana, before revealing his true form, an unformed and alien-looking creature to any of you, and apparently capable of changing his appearance. In this final form, you all struck him down to the ground after being savagely wounded by his longsword and fists. Nas gave a final warning to Varus to reconsider his vanity, lest he end up like Nas himself, and asked to say his final rites. The Vagabonds granted this request, and soon Nas fell still, the dust of the arena that had taken so many other lives covering his head and hands. The gathered crowd that had been so boisterous soon turned violent, calling for the deaths of the Vagabonds. You rushed from the arena to find one of your lone fans, Artagon the Dragonborn Aide, killed with a massive V carved into his back. A group of Red Vests led by the twin drow Taedra and Daedra Fell accosted you, and encouraged you to come with them to a safe place until the city calmed down and you could claim your positions as champions. You agreed, judging a fight with them in your weakened state to be a deadly encounter, but knowing that some betrayal likely awaited you. The sisters led you under cover of a seeming spell through the city to Nas's secret prison, where they locked you away and revealed their true plan. They intended to turn you over to the Shepard of Fire, who herself was concerned over the loss of two of her lieutenants. As they were telling you this, you heard a familiar voice speak the word, "Die," and watched Taedra drop dead, collapsing on the floor. You then saw a number of crystal marbles scatter across the floor, and Daedra stumble back, stupefied. A blood-soaked Balthazar approached her, drool beginning to drip from the side of her mouth, and say, "Boo," scaring the newly imbecilic woman into running away and out of sight. And that is where we left off. Change the music here. So, Balthazar approaches the cage and says, "Have I caught you at a bad time?"
Well, I'd say you've come at a good time.
I was just getting tea ready, really.
Yeah, it's perfect timing, Balthazar. It's good to see you.
I said I would help, did I not?
You certainly just said something.
Yeah.
If you prefer, I can leave you here. And he feigns turning to walk out.
Oh, well, I think we'll also leave. I'm not much for meeting the Shepard of Fire.
It would be rather rude of us to have you come all the way here and not accept your help.
Let's see about getting you out of that cage, then. And you notice now that Balthazar's eyes have a tinge of yellow glow to them, similar to how they look when he was identifying the various items you brought from the Hells. He examines the bars, holding the cell closely before nodding and saying, "Ah, I see." And he presents his blood-soaked hand up, and wraps his curled finger against the metal, leaving a spot of sticky blood and making a much louder than expected bang noise. And the door creaks open. Oh, hold on, I have a sound
All we had
effect
to
for
do
this.
was flick it.
It's a little more complicated than a flick.
All right. Thank you. And Kanan's gonna dart out of that cage.
Okay. We will have to be quick. The mob has been relentless in their pursuit of you, and even with my help, I doubt we would last more than a few moments. Fortunately, I have planned for this. Follow me. And Balthazar quickly turns, picking up a hurried walk, but stopping short of outright running towards the entrance to Nas Min's mansion. What would you like to do?
Follow.
Okay.
Following behind.
How are you following? Is everyone kind of like you keeping your distance from him, or are you rushing right up on him, or?
Kanan's gonna be like right behind him.
Okay.
Just kind of like asking some questions. Yeah, just like so. You said you had a plan. Is that like get us out of here and run? I know we talked to you about doing this and then you take it over. How does that work? Is the mob just gonna like kill you? Are you gonna be okay? Or I don't care about that. But anyways.
Slow down, Kanan. We have some time. I appreciate your questions. You should know for now, you will be safe. As for what waits in this city, I imagine that there will be chaos for some time. There are many who will try to arrest control, and it will be a struggle for me to maintain balance here.
Is the Order of the Fifth gonna try to do that?
I imagine they would try, but without their twin sisters leading them, I don't think they'll have much organization left. It is unlikely that the Shepherd herself will come down here, but it is an eventuality I have prepared for.
Okay. I mean, they said that they'd take us to her or she'd come and meet us.
Interesting. I will be on my guard then. Thank you. And as you all continue down the steps, you're talking as you're walking here. But as you descend down the steps, Balthazar turns to you, Kanan, and says, "You know, I really am grateful that you were able to attain those items from the cipher. While the Red Bull was a bit of a disappointment, I'm exceedingly happy with the rest of the items, and have even developed some new magic. It is in an experimental stage, but you may get the chance to see it in action." And you see this kind of wicked grin cross his face that you've seen a few times before when he gets real excited about something.
Did you make
throw
some
a banger of a party with that record?
Did you make some like time magic with your Red Bull to make it look like you've got wings or something? I don't know, make your arms flap real fast.
You'll just have to wait and see.
All right.
At this point, you reach the bottom of the exquisite stairs and you see a half-dozen red-vested bodies in various states of dismemberment, the red of their blood obscuring the lines between where the vests end and the ground begins, and the dirt underfoot is actually muddy and wet, squelching with each step. Balthazar says, "Do not mind them. They chose their fate," and continues off back towards the interior of the city, completely just ignoring, doesn't look down at all, is unfazed by these bodies.
Ooh, Kanan's gonna pause and like take it in, and then run up to Balthazar and be like, "Are these just civilians? What is there gonna be anyone left for you to rule?"
Perhaps, perhaps not. And he's just gonna keep walking. And at this point, the thick, irony scent of blood in the air mixes with the normally arid and dusty smell, and you can hear the echoes of violence clamor throughout the cavernous pathway you're walking. All of this violence is at odds with the pristine and rich houses that line the sides of this walkway, and the juxtaposition of the several bodies you've seen lining the pathway, some cleanly killed with a dagger, and others missing large holes from their torsos, against the near mansion. The near mansions here is striking. Balthazar continues undaunted, moving quickly without acknowledging the carnage around his feet.
Gonna follow.
Yeah, I think we chase after that dude.
Okay. While you're passing by the bodies here, Zarius, you hear a voice sound in your mind with only just a hint of familiarity. It says, Zarius, damn, I hope you're still alive. The situation in Haversteep has grown dire. I've evaded them for now, but I fear they're closing in. Come quickly to the Order of Xenia Academy outside Moorstop. And the voice cuts off.
From Zarius' experiences with that, was that cut off due to like the limit of the message? Okay.
Yeah.
Zarius is gonna keep that to himself until we are in a position where he can talk about that, not walking over dead bodies.
Do you know the player, George? Do you know where the voice is? Who the voice is?
Is that fair? I can't remember.
It's you met once. Make an intelligence check or history check, either one.
George failed his. Let me pull up that
Jeppin failed his.
history. Oh shoot! Why
11.
am I? Sure.
11's good enough. Yeah, it was like an 8 DC. So, you last heard this voice. You were given a sending stone by Arcturus, who you met at Corzin's party.
That dude.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Matt, I'm not sure if the stream is on.
Oh, did I not click go live?
Before we get too
Yeah.
before we get too far, there's not a stream happening. So I just want to let you know.
See it on Twitch.
Yeah.
I
I've
didn't
been
wanna
recording the whole
before-
time, so.
Okay, but just letting you
But
know.
I appreciate that. Yeah. What should the name of this stream be? Leaving...
We're back.
Oh yeah, we're back. That's good.
Turn of the King.
I'm back.
Back.
The
Look
Vagabonds
who's back.
return.
Back again.
Guess who's back?
Back
again. Vagabonds are back. Okay. Oh, Canada Dry. God.
We would have been on
Okay.
sooner if Canada Dry were here.
That's true.
If I had the nutrition and abilities of Canada Dry, we would have had a session last week.
Brain would have just
Sorry.
been so
Actions have
clear.
consequences.
Mhm.
Well, thank you to everyone watching us right now. We had some technical difficulties, and I didn't click the button to go live. But if you want to catch up on what you missed, check us out on YouTube at Baggage Claim D&D. You have to search it because we're not cool enough to have our own
It
URL
was-
yet. But
All a ruse.
it's all
It
a
was
plan.
Agatha all along.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, that's the last time you heard that voice was at that party. You recognize it as the voice of Arcturus. So,
Okay.
but you'll hang on
Yeah.
to that for now, which is fine.
Yep, I've got it written down.
Cool. As you close in near the transition area from this rich neighborhood to the rest of the city, the sounds of chaos and the mob grow louder and louder, and you can clearly distinguish many different voices from how close they are. The beautiful gate that divides the two areas of the city is broken open, and you even catch a glimpse of a roving mob that is apparently not thought to enter through yet. Balthazar abruptly turns left, walking directly toward the space between the closest house and the beautiful gate. He quickly approaches the wall and begins feeling around, tracing his palms and fingers this way and that along the surface of the red stone, and leaving traces of blood everywhere his hands touch until they've been wiped nearly clean and replaced with the crimson dust of the sandstone walls. He says, "Just a moment. I need to find the pathway," and continues searching the wall. What would you all like to do?
Kanan's gonna get on guard and pull her dagger out, ready for this mob to just kind of come through.
Okay.
Horace is also on guard, but like hiding behind a wall if he can.
Sure. Yeah. This is.
Zarius will.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, Zarius will kind of just draw his rapier and like back to Balthazar and kind of just like stand towards the alley, like waiting.
Okay. All right. As you're waiting, you see another group, larger than the first one that passed by, maybe about 20 people, walk in front of the beautiful gate and slow down, two of their members poking their heads through the opening and beginning to peer around. They haven't seen you yet, but only because they haven't looked in your direction. So, like, they're looking left. If they just turn their heads to the right, you're just standing in the open. You can maybe hide behind, like, a potted plant,
Yeah.
but that's about it. So, what do you want to do?
Oh no.
Can Anira just bolt into the alleyway that Balthazar's in?
Yeah, it's not really an alleyway. He's just feeling along the wall that's there. So there's a little bit of a
Okay.
gap between the gate here. So if the gate is there, and then there's a flat wall there, and then a building here, but it only sticks out about 10 feet, 5 to 10 feet. So be pretty tight in there between
Can
you and
I-
Balthazar.
Here, go ahead. I'm thinking.
Can I silent image in a 15-foot cube around us, just like a little shed, just like a wooden shed or something, just around us so that we're inside of it, but it looks like there's a shed here?
Sure. Let me look at silent image real quick and see the limits of it.
Yeah. I can send it to the chat too.
Okay. So, image of an object, creature, or some other visible phenomenon. Okay.
It's purely visual.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll say make a performance check. It's because you're stressed right now. You're really trying to get this right. 20.
Yes.
Okay. So, let's see if they notice here. All right.
They all have nat 20s plus 10.
Okay. Okay, so the mob, you cast this, and what's everybody else doing?
Kanan's gonna, of course, she's got her dagger out. She's gonna like crouch down low, ready to pounce and attack. Just zoom.
Okay, but are you staying within the area? Okay.
Yes.
All right, just making sure. And the style in which that Varus has created is close. It's it's not perfect, but it's close to fitting what it might look like in this area. So if nobody has seen it before, you might be in good luck. You see the guards kind of stick their head out and begin to look around. And at first, just two of them poke their heads through, and they start to walk in, and they're kind of taken aback at first at like how beautiful all the houses are, how rich the area is, and they're kind of looking around, and they look right at you all inside the shack. I mean, it's like they're making eye contact, and one of them walks up to it and looks, and he's like about to reach his hand out to touch it, and you hear Balthazar say, "There, I've got it." And the guy just startled is like, "What?" And the other guy's like, "What do you mean what? What, you got what?" And he's like, "No, I heard you say you got it." And for a second, both of them kind of look at each other, and then they look towards the shack.
Can I conjure animals, like 8 fucking raccoons, and have them like try to distract them and take them away?
Sure. Yeah, so go ahead and mark off the spell slot, and you immediately conjure 8 raccoons, and they're pretty hefty, beefy boys, and you're telling them to run out of the shed?
No, I'm trying to conjure them outside the shed.
Oh, outside the
run.
shed. Okay. So these fey raccoons just apparate right next to the guys there, and they both are very startled and see them run, and you see 2 of the other people the rest of the mob is kind of filtered in, so there's maybe like 15-20 people inside this area right now, and 2 of them just start like throwing their spears at these raccoons as they're running away, and one of them sticks him and it doesn't kill the raccoon, and he runs off, this big spear wobbling out of his back, so the guy chases after him. A couple of them follow with, and they're all very spooked by this, but it didn't deter the 2 guys who were right next to the shed. And one of them, he reaches forward and he goes to like grab the door.
Run, we're running.
And his hand just goes right through.
Eldritch Blast on both of them.
Okay.
Like when he gets shocked by a door.
Zarius might like try to stab the guy's hand as it reaches for the door too.
Okay.
If he can.
All right.
Ignore the top numbers.
This is just a question real quick, because it's been like a month. We haven't had a long rest, right?
No.
Okay.
So I'm still at like perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just missed his stab.
Okay, so the 2 Eldritch Blasts both flash out and they hit the first guy who was grabbing for the door, and he's just blown backwards, like he got hit with a cannonball, just knocked backwards onto his back, flat. Wind knocked out of him, breathing heavy. And a few of the other guards that are gathered there just start hucking spears at the shed. So don't worry, it's not great. These are just basic untrained people, basically, but they are from Redavash, so we'll roll several throws here. Okay, so these are just random attacks. So let me just roll a couple of, I don't know what, d6s. There, 4 d6s. Okay, so this is just me counting off randomly. And Ira, you are hit by one of these spears for 6 points of piercing damage.
Cool.
Kanan, you are hit with one of these spears for 2 points of piercing damage.
That's second.
Oh yeah, you can deflect missiles.
Let me just make sure.
You can reduce it by your dexterity
1d10
modifier plus your
plus
monk.
dex.
Yeah, plus your monk level, so you're plenty good.
There's more than 2.
Yeah. More than 2.
Yeah. So you can, if you would like to, you can catch the spear and stop it from stabbing you in the chest.
I'm gonna
have to.
catch it. I'm catching it.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna break it over my knee.
Okay. One of the other ones hits you, Varus, for 5 points of piercing.
I have to make a con save. It would be really funny if the shed just disappeared right now.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Don't use all your nat 20s now.
I know!
Too late.
Okay. I guess we should roll initiative and change this music, huh?
Yeah.
Because this mob is coming after you, so
Yeah.
I think we
Let's
go.
go.
Did Balthazar say he found a
And he
path?
said,
He
"I've
did.
got
We'll
it."
get there in just a sec.
Okay.
You said roll initiative.
Yes, everybody go
Oh,
ahead and roll it.
jeez.
Oh,
Kanan.
Hound versus Shed. Well, no, I don't think I was selected.
3 at 6.18.
Okay, and these guys rolled a 20, so we'll just call it a 20. I don't have a token for them, so. Okay, so is that everybody?
My token wasn't selected, sorry.
Oh, shame.
I forgot how to play this game.
What'd you roll?
6.18. Just like 2 other people on there.
Yep.
We all rolled 2s.
All right. So before this starts, Balthazar has he said, "I got it," and you look back and see he's starting to dig his fingers into the sandstone and like trace out a path, but it's going to take him a little bit to do so. So just so you know, that's what's going on there. But you do see him working out a rough doorway. Okay, so first up is Anira. You see there's about 25 people that are all armed with weapons and armor, and they look mob-like. A few of them have flaming torches and stuff, and they look ready to fight and kill. So what would you like to do? You've got your raccoons out there running away, leading 2 of them off.
Okay. I want to make the raccoons disappear.
Okay.
And can I wall of fire around the area, the shed area?
Okay. So you're gonna cast a wall of fire around the shed area. All right.
Like in basically a square, but with a way we can get out.
Okay. Let's see, wall of fire. And
It's a
how many
16 dex
spell
save.
slots do you have left? Because we did the whole big fight, and then
This was my last 4th level.
Okay. So you cast up the wall of fire, tracing your hand through and guiding the path that the fire is going to form, and it erupts out around the area that you're in. I'm guessing it's kind of pinning you to the wall. Is that what you're trying to do?
I'm trying to have them not be able to really get through us easily, and we can still get out to Balthazar. That's my goal.
Okay. All right.
Because
Yeah. So
120, it's like, yeah.
yeah. So I imagine that since
Or however big.
you all are next to the actual wall there that he's carving the doorway out of, you could just have it go out in like a 3-walled shape around it. So you call up, and the fire erupts out of the ground in this big roaring flame, and you see the mob kind of back off a little bit, and then you see a bunch of them just reach back and pull out crossbows and be ready to shoot into it. But you've got the wall up, and it separates the 2 of you, so they're not going to become charging in there anytime soon. Anything else you'd like to do for your turn?
That's basically it. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Cool. Next up is the mob. So, you see a bunch of them, like I said, just pull up a few crossbows, a few of them just ready spears to go and throw through it. So let's get some attacks going here. Not great. So we got like a 6, 6, 9, 10, 13. They still are trying to shoot through the shed, so they can't actually see what they're shooting at. They're just shooting at it.
And there's also fire now.
Yeah, it'll light the arrows and stuff on fire. Do extra fire damage. But we do have a couple of true hits, so let's see who they hit. Let's see, what do we have?
It sounded like a game show.
Who will we hit next?
Which of the vagabonds will you hit with your arrow, townsfolk?
Okay, so the first one hits you, Zarius, for a whopping... Oh, that was a nat 20, actually. So whopping 9 points of piercing damage. As this crossbow bolt comes through, lit on fire, and just punctures into your chest. The next one hits you, Harriet, not Haley. Hits you, Harriet, for 5 points of piercing damage. The last one hits. Let's see. I think it hits you, Kanan, for 2 points of piercing damage. But you can catch it if you'd like to.
I'm gonna catch it. You kidding me?
All right. You snatch the the crossbow bolt out of the air. You're holding it ready. The rest of you.
I'm just gonna hold it this time.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
As a reaction, was whoever shot that bolt within 60 feet of us?
Yeah.
Can I just cast Hellish Rebuke at first level?
Yeah, go ahead.
Through the flames.
Yeah, that's enough to kill this guy. I mean, some of them are pretty weak. This guy just erupts into flame and drops down, falling halfway on the wall of fire, mixing with your Hellish Rebuke flame. And for the rest of you, it's just a hail of crossbow bolts, spears, all kinds of improvised weapons, just rocks, everything you can think of, just sort of hailing down around you. Balthazar turns kind of to face you and he says, I need concentration. Settle this or make them go away. Next up is Varus. What would you like to do?
That's me. Let's see. Varus is going to put on this very dramatic show with his voice and be like, I invoke the ancient summoning of the great red dragon. And then he's going to cast Silent Image again, because I can do that for free, and summon this giant 15-foot cube dragon flying in the air above them, just looking like ready to strike, mouth with like fire in it, maybe mixing with the wall of fire, you know?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Go ahead and make an intimidation check. The shed disappears. Yeah, intimidation.
Yeah, the shed disappears.
12, okay. The dragon looks fantastic. It looks wonderful. It's just itty-bitty. Not quite big enough. So it's just flying around this space over and over and over again. And it's trying to grow and everything, but it's just not quite getting there.
We got us a little Mushu.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like Mushu.
Baby Harriet?
Yeah. But it scares a few of them. You got them kind of spooked. It's doing pretty well.
Thanks.
So
and then I'll just kind of back up against the wall.
All right.
The great red dragon.
Okay. Next up is Harriet. What would you like to do? Your shed cover has disappeared.
Well, so this wall of people, like, is it just on all sides coming in?
No, the wall is like to your left as you're facing the crowd, and there's one doorway that's up maybe 20, 30 feet from where you are that they've all entered in at, and they've just kind of mobbed around the wall of fire that Anira has created.
Okay, so are they within 30 feet of me?
Oh yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to cast Fear in that direction. I'm going to use my actor feat to roar like the great red dragon that was just summoned.
Okay.
And just like, quarterstaff, like, for that 30-foot radius of casting Fear in their direction while howling.
All right, what's your spell save DC?
Hold on. Please.
We're really running with the dragons and fire motif for
It's
this
16.
one.
16, okay. So a little under a third of the mob turns and bolts, and they're like, nope, I'm done. They drop their weapons and take off, run back out of the gate, and you see the rest of them yelling after them, like, oh, come on, we're about to get them. They're not that tough. But about a third of them take off running and just are out. They're done. So, very good. Anything else you'd like to do for your turn? Okay. Next up is Kanan. What would you like to do?
I would like to cast Minor Illusion behind the mob that's still here and make the sound of a really loud voice saying the following. Ha! You all have come out to fight those who killed Nas Min? Well, I think that deserved to happen. Why don't you come and get me, you suckers?
Okay. All right. Make an intimidation check. Or a persuasion check, your choice. Whichever one you want them to do more. If you want them to really come and get you, do persuasion.
Not Kanan. It's a voice behind them.
Okay, got it. All right, just making sure. Do an intimidation check.
Intimidation.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see a couple of them kind of like shudder for a moment, and they're like, "Wait a minute, who said that? Who said that?" And they're just a little bit more confused than anything else.
I think it was that guy behind you. Go get him.
Okay. All right. Next up is Zarius. What would you like to do?
Cool. Zarius is going to use his last second level spell slot and cast Magic Weapon. Are they all like huddled around the wall of fire? They're within 60 feet, so around a couple of them.
Okay.
And he'll just slash it, I guess, one of them.
Magic Weapon or Spiritual Weapon?
No, I'm sorry, Spiritual Weapon.
Okay.
My brain doesn't work sometimes. It's the same level spell slot.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's that. And then as an action, since that's a bonus, can he drink a potion?
Yeah.
What's the greater one? Is that 1d4
4d4 plus 4?
4d4. 4d4.
44.
That's enough.
4.
So 10, 14 health.
Nice. All right, so yeah, the Spiritual Weapon manages to clock one of them pretty good. I mean, you get a solid whack on him, but he doesn't quite go down. Okay. Sorry. All right, next up is Balthazar, who is going to go at the bottom of the turn order. He says, "There, I've got it." And you see this very sizable stone rectangle shudder and sink into the wall face. Dust and smaller pebbles falling from the outline. After a moment, the stone door slides into the wall, and Balthazar shouts, "Get inside." Y'all running inside?
Reaction, run inside.
Okay.
Reaction.
Okay. Inside, you see a long and extremely dark hallway that stretches off and out of sight. The inside air smells stale, dry, and dusty. What would you all like to do inside? Are you doing anything at all? Nothing, it's okay.
Can I
Take a deep breath.
What's the light situation like?
There's no light inside.
Can I Thaumaturgy doesn't create light.
Druidcraft can create light. You can create a little fire.
Could I pull out some stick in my pouch that I probably have and Druidcraft a little baby flower on the stick?
Easy enough.
Cool.
Sorry, I guess I have no light.
Just so for our non-dark vision friends.
Everyone has dark vision at this point, but yeah.
Got a belt,
Well, it's
baby.
for the comfort of it. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. Sure, no problem. Okay, so
And then, does the wall close up behind us, or is it still wide open?
no, Balthazar has not entered in yet. He's still standing outside, just kind of ushering you inside.
Oh, okay.
So now that you've
I'll
all,
hang towards the back.
huh?
I'll hang towards the back of us.
Okay,
then.
got it. All right. And Ira, are you leaving the wall of fire up or no?
I will, yeah.
Okay. The mob has begun to push in, a few of them leaping over that wall of fire and taking their chances with it. Go ahead and roll the fire damage.
It's 20 feet high.
Yeah, they're just running through it. I mean, it's not impenetrable.
You said hopping over.
Well,
I was concerned. When I rolled it at first, it was 14
okay,
fire
so
damage.
all right, I'll mark that down. So about 6 of them have pushed through the fire. So there's a good 10 people left outside of it, and the 6 that have crossed over have begun to push in close to Balthazar. The original group you see now as you look over, has been joined by first one group and now another. So now there's just this mob, maybe 50, 60 people outside. Balthazar speaks, his voice cutting over the clamor, saying, "There's no reasoning with a mob. You have to use force." And he reaches into one of the folds of his clothing, withdraws a somewhat familiar device, pointing it towards the mob. One of them has walked right up to him. He speaks towards you all and says, "It looks like you get to see my experiment in action. Alakablam!"
Oh,
And a deafening crack echoes out through the area, reverberating in your chest and setting a high ringing in your ears, much like Harriet's gun, but significantly louder. A flash of flame spewed out from the end of the device, and the person directly in front of the barrel, an angry-looking human man, is nearly instantly struck. The man's face contorts with surprise for an instant before the back of his head explodes outward onto the mob behind him, some of it evaporating into the mist of fire. He collapses forward, falling face down into the sandstone dust, and you catch a glimpse at the injury. The entire back of his head is gone, a smoking hole left in place of his brains. Pink mist hangs in the air around the dead man, mixing with the dust typical of Renovash. The mob stops dead in their tracks, stunned by the noise and the sheer violence of the action, and Balthazar hurries into the tunnel with the rest of you, pulling the door from its slot in the wall and pushing it closed behind him. And with that, hold on here.
Flying gunshot. We all go deaf.
Yeah, pushing it closed behind him, he says, "They will not be able to follow us here. The city is fully engulfed in chaos, and if it is to be saved, we must act quickly. These tunnels provide a secret method of travel throughout the city. Likely how Nas was able to be in so many Likely how Nas was able to be so many people in so many places. Follow me." And he starts out down the narrow hallway in front of you while walking briskly. So 2 people can make perception checks.
I gotcha.
I got one.
Zarius doesn't have one.
Zarius is deaf.
Zarius is shocked by the sound.
Ooh.
Okay, 23 for Kanan and 10 for Anirakut. This area is, again, very dark and almost featureless. There are no markings indicating any sort of directions whatsoever, or what area of the city you are near, and no mounts for torches or any other kind of light. Thanks to the light that Anira has provided, there's a dim kind of glow flickering from the stick. The air in here is thin and stale, like a tomb left undisturbed for thousands of years, which, incidentally, you all have a little bit of experience with. With your dark vision, you all can, since with the light, you can make out that the walls and floor are made of the same material, but not of the ruddy stone that Renovash is known for. This stone appears to be some kind of limestone, similar to the stone surface you found all throughout Lavinda. It's rough and coarse and covered with a thin layer of fine dust that clings to your feet and hands as you touch it. In front of you, Balthazar has moved fairly quickly and descended slightly as the path lowers further beneath the city. Behind you, the noises of the mob are muffled by the heavy stone door blocking the path, but you can still hear the anger and violence of their presence, as some of the muffled pangs and plinks of weapons being used like pickaxes to try to pry open the door. What would you all like to do?
Run?
Following Balthazar. I'll be in the back, just with my sword drawn, kind of looking back
Okay.
every couple seconds
Yeah,
to make
sure.
sure that
Zarius would probably be right in front of Varus then. So,
All right, 1 second.
Naira's just kind of vibing, but in a bad way.
Vibing, but negative.
Vibing int.
Vibant. The anti-vibe. In a world where vibes are bad.
So much
They're
bloodshed.
pretty bad.
How do people get so obsessed that this happened?
Oh, I think there was some sort of magic to do with it. I mean, we all felt it when we came into this town looking at that statue. It was like we were, I don't know, revitalized or something. Imagine feeling that and that sway to, I don't know, like this man for all your life. I don't know, Balthazar, but will you give a warning or something next time you shoot that thing?
I have to admit I was a little surprised as well. I haven't actually been able to use it effectively yet.
And
Wasn't
why
that
don't more
fun?
people use that? That seems
Was
kind of
that an effective use?
It was fairly effective, yes.
I think so. It went very well. Disgusting, but very well.
What?
Zarius just has tinnitus.
Watch you
You better
get giant!
Zeus is more scared of guns than the people who get shot by them.
Okay. As you continue forward and downward along this path, the temperature drops sharply until you can begin to see your breath for a moment before it dissipates, and the path is finally leveled out. Balthazar has continued his forward pace, ignoring the 3 offshoot pathways that led in other directions that you've passed so far, and shows no signs of slowing down. It's difficult at this point to figure out just how far you've traveled, but you feel you could make it out if maybe 2 of you made survival checks.
I've got one.
I got one.
Ba-ba-ba-bow.
Survival. Better than my perception.
I
Here,
clicked
get the
it.
other.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay.
16 to 21, good. You're not 100% sure, but you've definitely been walking for the better part of a half hour, and while the path has gently twisted and turned here and there, with the pace you've been walking, you're definitely beyond the arena area at this point, and likely nearing the opposite side of the city, near the Fetland Market and the entrance to the underground in Balthazar's Forum. After a few more minutes of walking, Balthazar slows to a stop, and the path opens up into 3 forking tunnels before you. He says, "You should catch your breath here. The road ahead is a dangerous one, no matter the choice you make."
Do you know which paths lead where?
Yes, but I'll need a moment to focus, so please enjoy a rest for a few moments. And you all can use this time for a
Okay.
short rest if you'd like to. Whatever you'd
Yes,
like to do.
please.
You've got to.
Oh,
He's basically saying,
long
catch your
rest,
breath.
Just pass out in this hallway.
At this point,
And
by the
Ira,
way,
if you fall
Anira, that
asleep, I
stick
would
is
carry
burned
you.
out.
Secret tunnel
Through the mountain.
Into
through the
thick of it.
city.
Oh my god, into the thick of it.
We're tramping through the hall.
No,
Oh my god.
no, we're not. I refuse.
How did I get a 10 on a D8?
Because it's
Plus
plus
2
2.
Constitution.
Okay.
George is waiting because he will lose his.
Kanan can't roll anything tonight.
The night is young. What?
I love being a warlock and getting all my shit back on
3,
short rest.
4.
Yeah, that's like your one benefit, King.
I get wild shape back with short rest, right?
34.
Yeah, because I did that in the house. Cool.
Sure, it's weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Plus 1 is going to be.
That's the only reason I survived in the hells. That's yes, I can.
Another one.
Where the birds are singing tiptoe. The tulips.
This is happening while we're taking a short rest. Balthazar's like, shut up.
He's like, guys,
Got
I'm
the
trying to
violin.
focus.
So the little musical number.
Cannon's got the violin, and Ira's just like,
Balthazar has like exasperated parent on a road trip energy. Like, I'm trying to focus.
I will
I need
turn this
silence.
escape around.
Oh,
and
1 minute.
I will put you back in
How
that
about
cell.
now? Are we there yet?
Balthazar, are we there yet?
Alfie, how much longer?
Daddy Balthazar.
You know, that's how annoying we are.
Yeah.
The checks.
We're not in debt to him anymore. We can be as annoying as we want.
Well,
When he uses power word BAM on us, I think we'll be saying other things.
When he pulls the Glock on us.
When Balthazar whips out his Glock.
This is so fucking weird.
You're in debt now. The fact he allows us to live is making us open.
Is there anything
I
if
miss
there's
you
anything
guys.
that you all wanted to talk about as well, you can do that now.
Oh, that was all canon.
Has been kind of a stressful little bit here. So
Would anyone kind of prefer to be fighting a white dragon at this moment? Suppose.
Ryhavane?
Yeah.
I'd take an army of the Bone Devils.
May, this is not really much we can do about it now, but going forward, while we are
I'm gonna mute myself. The people above me are like stomping.
I got a message from, I believe it was Arcturus, you know, the guy we met way back when at the party at Corzens, saying that there's a situation in Haversteep that's out of control, and he asked us to meet him at the, was it Order of Xenia, Matt?
the Order of Xenia Library outside of Moorstop.
At the Order of Xenia library outside of Moorstop. I personally don't have any strong ties to this man, but he did give me a sending stone a while back. But I know there's been other talk of going, so next step maybe, I don't know. There's something going on there.
I mean, I think we're gonna have to face all of these people eventually. Or at least all of the main cities.
a lot of things have been pointing us in the direction of Haversteep for, well, a long time.
Yeah, I believe Balthazar had said there's another vase in the gold mines. One of the generals, right, of lieutenants, whatever you call them, are there.
I mean, Tadriel's some kind of angel. I mean, it's like everyone knows about it, they just don't care about it. Or they can't do anything about it.
I feel like that's how it is in a lot of these places.
No, but an angel gone bad, is that like a demon or something? Am I getting my lore mixed up?
I wouldn't know. But I think any direction at this point I'll take.
Yeah, we're kind of looking for next steps, right? With-
Anything not here.
Yeah.
It's away
I
from
don't
here.
know.
It's on our list of places that work. You've got a connection already who's apparently waiting for
Yeah,
us.
who was this?
Arcturus, he was at the party I met you at, actually. We hadn't spoke much, but
Now then, it must be important if he doesn't talk to you every evening and just decided to call you out of the blue.
yeah, I believe. Yeah, it was just out of the blue. I mean, I spoke maybe 2 sentences to the man.
Well, why? What does he want us for?
There's a situation that's out of control in Haversteep. You know as much as I.
Could it be a trap set by
It's
the Shepard of
entirely
Fire?
possible.
I mean, I just remember, I don't know, Tadriel's kind of scary. I mean, of course it's just legend or rumor, I guess, but I don't know, one of the books I read on him said that in the Revolution, he killed thousands of skilled warriors on his own. And I'm not saying we can't take a part in that, but do you think that's why this person needs help?
It's possible. I think there's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
And there
Were you
lots
able
of
to
signs that-
respond?
We were fleeing. People chased. I wasn't. No. I probably could. I still have the stone. But that wasn't top of the list at that moment.
I guess so, yeah. There was kind of a mob following us.
Yeah. But maybe once we get to a more secure spot, I'll shoot a message back and we'll see what we can do. Figure out.
I don't know. This cabin is very welcoming.
I don't much fancy living in the dark underground after living in the dark underground in Renovash for a long time. I mean, the whole thing's a cave.
Oh, trust me, I know.
Speaking, yes.
Have any of you been to this place?
I mean, we've been south of it. Southwest of it, Calamon. I mean, New Calamon.
And one of your libraries is there regardless.
Yes, in fact, one of the ones that's the most, I don't know, in the books I read, it was just, they were devastated that it had been lost. So, there's gotta be something there about maybe the lady who owned this fiddle on my back, or I don't know.
And I'd be interested in hearing about that too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I think we need to go and help. I think it's just gonna be dangerous.
I think anywhere we go is going to be dangerous. I don't think our other option was a vacation.
You all
Right.
tango with danger. I'd be surprised if we managed to get to somewhere safe.
Oh, well, we have to pass through Calamon again, don't we? New Calamon? It's in that
We can
direction.
just go around.
Because the point is there's danger wherever we go, like you said.
I mean, and we're dangerous too.
Exactly.
There's a whole mob out there because of stuff we did. We're not that we can do dangerous things too.
But
You know,
we're hiding
never thought
from
of
them.
that.
I
You
mean,
tell
we
me
could
to
be
go and fight them
dangerous.
right now? Because I certainly don't. I've had enough fighting for today.
Yeah, me
We're
too.
only hiding because we literally destroyed the most powerful man in Renovash. I personally don't have much left in me for today.
We've killed Corzin, we've killed Nas.
We're not hiding, we're surviving. That's what we do.
A tactical retreat.
Oh,
Do you think-
tactical retreat, serious. Okay, General.
Oh, come now, surely you've read the books.
I followed
yes.
into battle.
What do you guys think of all the, I don't know, the big guys we've killed?
I'm glad they're
I-
dead.
I mean, me too. But they have family all the same.
Did they?
What did they do to that family,
I know
though?
Corzin had a daughter and he had a son too, right? She had a brother.
Didn't
Being a family
Nas-
does not excuse what they did.
No, I don't think it does.
Didn't
I
Nas
just-
talk about how his parents, like, denounced him or died or something? I
don't
remember him getting very emotional at one of the dinners. It was weird.
I don't remember. I didn't fancy him all that much.
I don't, me neither.
But he looked okay. Was Kanan also one of the people aware that Afraj is related to Nas?
He said, "Tell my daughter Afraj this."
Okay. I have that written down. I just don't want to accidentally metagame.
Also,
okay.
My notebook is in one of my boxes that's not available, so I don't have
Fine.
any notes. So
But Afraj, I mean, we know her, and sure, I may not agree with her group and their tactics. I think they're quite anti-nature as much as they meddle, but I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. I feel like, I mean, I know I'm all about aggression and I can be a little hot-headed at times, but maybe talking to people, maybe we can see what they're doing. I mean, Corzin told me about the Clendathian Empire and I don't know, there's just all these things coming to my head right now, and I don't know if it's just because I'm worried because we just destroyed a city and now that it's in chaos or what. We destroyed 2 cities. We've destroyed a hell city, and who knows how that's gonna manifest itself here.
Destroyed or liberated?
I will say they somewhat brought it upon themselves because they didn't really give us, at least in my experience traveling with you all, we tried to talk, and it still ended up like this. Because our talking wasn't favorable to them. The whole reason we had to fight Nos is because we weren't on board with joining this army, right? The Iron Legion was down and got sent off, and we had to fight them instead.
I don't know. I feel like I need to know more. I mean, I kind of know what the Clendathian Empire is about. It worries me. What if we take all of this down, and what if we get involved, and then a bigger bird comes in and
Then we'll catch the bigger bird too.
We don't really
What we
have a
do,
choice.
we're vagabonds. We take care of problems, no matter how big they are, or how big they can keep getting.
but we're vagabonds.
Fear of the future doesn't give you a right to stagnate in solving the problems now.
Right.
Wow.
But if we have no home, why are we meddling with someone else's home?
Because it's the right thing to do.
We've seen more homes than any of them.
Because these people are shit. Corzin fucked with our heads because he felt like it. He made puppets of people basically because he felt like it. I don't care
he
who you
deserved
think
death.
you are. I don't care who you think you are. People shouldn't be treated like that. People should be able to live their own lives. You know?
Ultimately, I believe no one is truly good or bad. It's not black and white. There is no the right thing and the wrong thing. There's just the appropriate thing to do.
Wouldn't appropriate then be good?
Not necessarily.
Us, Corzin must have seen us as the bad guys.
I guess so. I think there's definitely good and bad, though.
Well, sure, but in the terms of the grand, like, what is the right thing to do? Sometimes the right thing to do is the bad thing, just the nature of...
Further. Good.
The right thing to do is the bad thing.
I mean, is
I mean,
killing
right and bad are
everything?
just at conjuncture with each other, but I think I get what you mean, Anara. Is that it's not a comfortable thing to do all the time. And it's kind of weird to be on the hand of, or on the side of people who decide. I just don't want don't want to let it get to my head.
We're in too deep now to stop, so I don't think it's an
agree
option
with
for
that.
us.
I agree with that.
I mean, you do raise good questions, though, Kanan. We don't know much about their true intentions. The Shepard of Fire and whatnot. We just know that the people that have worked with the Shepard of Fire, namely Corzin and Nos, are total fuckheads and deserve to die. But we don't know much about the whole... At least I don't.
Maybe she'll be open to talking.
I mean, I know some of the situation. I've caught stories on my travels about like the Clendathian Empire's crazy old. And there was a revolution, and there's people representing the Taurid Protectorate. But that's about it. So yeah.
Well, maybe that's something that we can add to our to-do list. Is learn a little bit more about what's going on.
Like I said, right and wrong is in that, the eye of the beholder. It's entirely up to us to go and figure out. Obviously we're not going to go in there with the sole intention of killing this person if we find other information to suggest otherwise. But, we go, we see what we can, we learn, and we make our decisions off of that. We don't have to decide if we're going to kill them or not now.
Yes, you're right.
Maybe the shepherd's morals are in line, but her pawns are the ones that fuck it up.
It's a person-to-person basis.
Maybe the Order of Xenia that's been destroyed has, some information on that.
You all do seem the type to go into ruins and poke around.
Multiple times.
Actually, we've been known to do that.
Now, let's focus on surviving and getting out of the city alive.
About this time, Balthazar clears his throat. Vagabonds, this is where we part ways. 3 paths lie before you. To the left, you will exit beyond the northern wall of the city in the plains outside the Kalamon Timberland. From there, you will have the easiest access through the forest and back to the Sword Coast. And I'll move us to the map so y'all can see this. And for everybody, we'll move us onto our battle screen just so we can see the map as well.
We're fighting.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
This is where we part ways permanently.
He turns.
Bam, bam.
Yeah. He just stopped.
Goodbye. Finally.
Wednesday morning,
when he
Eddie
says
has
goodbye,
planned.
Vagabonds, he means it.
Okay. So,
Seen too much.
Balthazar says you will have easiest access through the forest and back to the Sword Coast. To your right, you will emerge between the woods near the trade trail to Labinda, an area you are likely familiar with. If you continue forward, you will exit near the Verstel River, several miles from Latryre. From this point, you will be able to avoid detection between the Shepherd's agents in New Kalamon and Galston. As for me, I must return to the city and restore order. This is as far as I go.
You said, what's the middle path? Or is it just a fork?
It's
If you
over here.
continue forward, you will exit near the Verstel River.
Okay.
Well, if we're headed half steep, then forward's probably the best way to go.
Forwards the best one. Yeah.
To avoid detection, yeah.
Thank you for your help thus far, Balthazar, and good luck reclaiming and rebuilding your city.
If anyone can do it, it's you.
It will be my pleasure.
If you need any aid, You know who to call, as long as it's not going back to them getting energy drinks, whatever those were.
Very well. It will take you several days to reach the exit, and it may have overgrown since the last time it was used. I hope the journey is not too hard for you. Keep hope. There is an end, even if it is not in sight yet. Vagabonds, I know we had our differences, and perhaps there is still animosity between us. He looks at you, Kanan. But I express my sincere gratitude for what you have done in defeating Nas Min. Knowing that he is gone gives me a sense of relief I have not felt in ages. Once things have calmed down and I have secured the city, you will be welcome to return. I am happy to provide aid in your travel should you need it. For a discounted rate, even. That was a joke. Farewell, Vagabonds.
Well, onward.
Balthazar returns back the way that you came, his footsteps softly echoing on the dust-covered stone floor, gently receding until his figure vanishes into darkness. You are left alone in the dark, a long and dark hallway stretching out before you, out of sight. What would you like to do?
Well, if it's several days in this tunnel, we may as well get as far as we can tonight.
Feeling a bit better after the short break. We can go until we decide to stop. We're not really on any clock now.
It's just the dark tunnel for days, then who cares what time it is? But yeah. The middle
Wouldn't want to be... Yes, I think so. I was just going to say, wouldn't want to be stuck in a dark tunnel for days with anybody else.
And it will make the coming out of the tunnel even sweeter.
Yeah.
About that.
Well, I guess we start walking. Are we going the path towards Blackbriar? Okay.
Is that a child or a cat in the background of one of you?
That might be a child in my background. I think the people upstairs just had a baby.
Aww.
That's why there's so much noise.
There's just a legit child in the tunnel.
You see a baby in the tunnel.
It's
Baby Nas Min, moral dilemma right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you press on down the hallway. Darkness and the cool, dry air your only companions. Time passes, but you have difficulty tracking it. You travel, feeling the temperature of the air shift and change, growing colder, and the silence of the ground around you pressing in. The path has widened somewhat, allowing the three of you to walk side by side, but there are still no remarkable features with which to identify your location or track your progress. This path and the rest of the paths that you've traveled on here seem to be hewn from the bedrock rather than constructed. Eventually, you feel the edges of exhaustion tugging away at your weary muscles and minds. The adrenaline of battle and the emotion of everything that has happened, everything that you've seen and learned, the realization that the villain Nas had been in your room with you, watching you sleep, is unsettling, and you feel the weight of all of these things sitting heavily on you. What would you like to do?
Did we remember to bring food?
I can make some.
Couple old rations.
I've got little
I just hate to
berries.
starve in a tunnel.
We have ways. We're fine.
Starve to death in a tunnel. That's how the vagabonds go out.
Oh man.
I also can create food and water. It's not really the best, but it'll get us by.
It's better than a handful of berries.
I think you're a great cook, Zarius.
No, it's not cooking. It's literally just like turning dirt to bread.
You know, that's what I've been told about my cooking, so it's all right.
So sad.
You make a mean tea, though, Harriet.
It's, you know, to overpower how bad the scones are. It's all right.
You know, guys, it's been like don't know. We've been going kind of non-stop. I mean, for a while.
The life we've chosen.
Yeah.
At least I hope
Vagabond.
we've chosen it.
I just can't help think of Fang being here. And I mean, the joy he might have seen from us. I don't know, like you said earlier in Ira, us freeing the people of the city.
You did free him, you know. You freed him more than you could have by letting him remain on this plane. Especially after his encounter with, I assume, was someone important to him on the boat.
Who knows? Life beyond death is a funny thing. It's entirely possible that he can see us in some form, wherever he is. His soul is.
That's one of those situations where it doesn't seem like it was the right thing to do, but ultimately it ended up turning out that way.
Right thing to do. You stared at him and like you expected him to go. I don't mean to be angry at you and Ira. I just...
Did you see how he was acting?
How he was acting. How do you expect someone to act when they've been in hell for who knows how long? You hadn't even met the man.
I am sorry, Kanan.
I don't need an apology. I'm not angry at you.
Who are you angry at then, Kanan?
I don't know.
It's part of the cycle of grief. Denial, anger, bargaining. Sometimes all at once.
I know it's a cycle.
And I'm very familiar with that, Kanan.
Yeah. We don't know anything about you. And I'm very appreciative for you being here and helping us. I don't want you guys to die.
Do you want to know anything about me?
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I like to hear people's stories.
I too. Well, there's no better time for stories than sitting in a dark tunnel, right?
I guess not.
But keep the walking entertaining.
I mean, I could try and sing, but I'm not very good.
You have a favorite plant, Anira? Favorite
Ferns.
flower? Ferns?
Yeah, strangely.
Do you talk to them? I don't really know how that works.
I mean, I don't talk to them per se, unless I consciously use magic to talk to them, but they do have a voice.
what do they say, ferns? I've never talked to one.
They mostly, well, they don't really talk. Sometimes they'll alert me if someone's passed through, which can be useful. I'm sure you saw when we first met way back the forest how the trees seem to move and breathe with me. I don't know where that came from, but
I don't watch your breathing much, and I run. Unless I wanted you dead, but I haven't wanted you dead.
and honestly, I wouldn't blame you if you did. A lot of people do.
A lot of people. Did you meet a lot of people in the swamp?
Well, before the swamp. And I wasn't from the swamp, I was from the forest, so I'm sure someone wants me dead in the swamp. That's a trend I carry with me.
Why is that?
It's a lot, and a lot to go into.
Submit yourself. Dark tunnel.
Yeah, I've met you, and my first thought wasn't, wow, I really hope she's dead. So I don't really know why they would get that impression.
Think of how many enemies we've made on this journey.
You met me when I had control of my power. And I could have that control and not hurt you all. And for a long time I didn't have that, so I suppose that's why I'm traveling with you all, is because you're the first group of people in 15, 20 years that haven't either run from me or tried to kill me.
That second part's a bit debatable, considering what we've dragged you into. But I'm glad you're
I
here.
tried to kill you at least once.
That's kind of part of the game, I guess.
Well, you haven't necessarily, hopefully you haven't necessarily wanted me dead, because that would make this dark tunnel with no exit really awkward.
Yeah. Be a great
Nara,
place
we've been with you for months. If we wanted you dead, you'd be dead.
You've seen what happens when we want someone dead. And
Aggressively so. Yeah.
well, what's happened then? Did you just... You said you had all this time not in control, and you just woke up one day and you... how did that work?
Well, no, it was a process. It was with my mentor that I met. For about 2 or 3 years I worked with him, and then it was 8 years after that when I met you, so I've spent all that time becoming stronger and honing my skill, and as cliche as that sounds. And now we're here, so.
Dark tunnel.
Long dark tunnel.
Well, there might be ferns on the other side, so you never know.
Maybe you could ask them to let us out.
I'm not sure that's how that works.
No?
I want to talk to a fern!
Yeah, but what do we have to do?
If we find one, that can happen.
I want to ask them, oh, this is my dear friend Anira. She loves ferns. Do you know her? That's how it works.
Well, it depends on if they have a consciousness or not. Some of them, you try to talk to them, and they're just kind of... They don't really speak common. They speak some language that I've never heard. I don't know if it's a language.
Speak a plant.
Sure.
Fern-ish?
Yeah.
Fern-conic?
Nalian.
Furman, there we go. But, yeah, I'm sure we can try.
Infernal.
Infernal.
Sorry.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry.
But, I mean, is there... Kanan, you said you don't really know anything about me. Is there anything you've been wanting to know? Like, in particular?
I mean, you talk an awful lot about this master of yours. And about people wanting to kill you. So, I don't know. Who wants you dead? Are we gonna run into them?
No. If they're still alive, they're in Latium, and they're mostly merchants and common. It's not as broad of a scale as what we're involved in now. I'm not even sure they want me dead. They just want me not there. So, and
Well, just because someone doesn't want you somewhere doesn't mean they want you dead.
well, I heard a lot of people, and I wouldn't be surprised. Not of my own doing. I didn't it. Kietumal helped me in a lot of ways that make me able to sit here with you all right now.
Kitamo?
Kietumal, my mentor.
Oh.
He met me at my lowest point, and
Does he want you dead as well?
well, he's dead, so I'm not sure how that works. Which is why I say I'm intimately aware of that kind of loss, because the forest there were a bunch of mercenaries trying to tear down the forest for whatever reason, and he fell to them. And so I killed them. And it was not his time. We weren't done. We had so much more life to live together, but that's just how fate played the cards. And I'm sure if we go through the forest, we'll be able to find the remnants of his cabin, but they were turned to ash, so I don't know how much will be left.
Well, thank you, Anira. You said merchants didn't want you in Latium?
That's just the general populace of Latium, mostly.
So the whole populace doesn't want you there. Did you know anyone who went by the merchant?
No. Right, Matt? I didn't?
Nope.
No, I don't. Latium is generally where it's like the center point or something. My parents were nomadic, but they settled there to start their own business, right before having me.
Are your parents still there?
I mean, probably. I haven't talked to them in 20 years or so.
I mean, we're going to find Zarius' dad sometime. We can go and talk to your parents.
I'm sure they already have closure. I don't want to rip open that wound.
I'm sorry, what?
Forgot about the Zarius dad side.
Zarius has daddy
off
issues.
his ass. He was drunk.
Exactly.
Go around the
That's
circle,
daddy
let's
issues.
find everyone's parents and or loved ones. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Drunk words are
I
sober
found my
thoughts.
loved ones. They're right here in this
Oh, I
tunnel,
know.
damn it.
I know. I know.
They have closure of not knowing. Well, they probably think I'm dead, so I don't want to rip open that wound.
Do you have closure though, Anira?
Mostly.
I mean, if the whole town wants you dead, I bet they're reminded every day that you're gone.
I mean, I'm sure they don't really.
Sorry, Kaden doesn't have a family.
No, I'm trying to think how to put it. It's not so much. It's not like I hurt everyone. It was a pattern. You've all seen these fucking spores, right?
Doesn't seem too bad.
I used to not be able to control them, among other things, and as well as being a wood elf in Latium. When I was 15, one of the boys tried to shove me over, and his hand turned black and started to rot off the bone. And that's when I ran. So,
That sounds like self-defense, though.
Shouldn't have gotten so close, yeah.
it was I didn't consciously make that happen. It just happened. And Kietamal didn't run away from that and helped me manage it, and now I don't make your skin rot off when you sit near me.
Well, I'm glad of that. I mean, it's got quite a bit of fur to go through. Maybe they're not as upset as you think. I mean, I'd understand if it was an accident. There were plenty of times, like, there's so many scars I have from my training. And I forgave every one of my mentors or, I don't know, other people learning in the same order.
Pupils.
Years.
Hello, students.
Students!
Fellow students.
I'm certainly in no rush to go back.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Hello, students.
Returning to our hometowns after being gone for 40 years and being level
You
10.
go back to
menaces.
your high school in like 6 years. It's like, hello.
Yeah. After like defeating dictators and everyone else is like, oh yeah, I became a baker.
I have my own shop stall.
Yeah.
Hey, I still couldn't be a baker, so respect.
That is true.
But you know what? I totally agree with what Kanan's saying. I mean, I've probably accidentally shot Varus a bunch of times trying to learn how to use all this stuff. And you know what? We're all
Is that what the
still
hole in
here.
my leg is all about?
Shut up, Varus.
You really should get that looked at, Varus.
I have multiple broken teeth now because, you know, it's how it is. You know, we... Just because you damaged someone once doesn't mean it's over. You know? It just makes it all the more meaningful that they stuck around after that. And I'm not about to run away from you, Anira. I'd probably run after you.
Well, that was just the final straw, but I hear you.
You have to keep in mind that not everyone's as forgiving as us. As someone who has experience with people, there are those who are like us and will forgive and forget, and there are others that will hold grudges for centuries.
I mean, you look at Corazon.
Yes.
He kept his daughter locked up for how many years? His own daughter, in Life and Blood. We're not gonna force you to go find your family. I know that there's someone called the Merchant that passes information around Falderstep and Galston that knows the Shepard of Fire. And I believe that's one of maybe the Shepard of Fire's lackeys. So we might have to go back there, Anira.
Matt, how long ago would Anira know how long ago all of this started with the Shepherd? And
Yeah, the
25
this is just,
years.
Yeah, it's about 25 years. General timeline, everyone would know it's about 25 years.
okay. And I left. What is my timeline? It's been 15, 20. Okay. Okay. If we do go back, I'll probably not look myself because I have closure and I don't want to jeopardize that.
Press X to
You've also
down.
grown in 20 years. Press X to down.
I mean, I'm an elf. We don't change that much.
I mean, you're
I'm sitting
older.
right here.
Vaz has aged like 20 years in the year that I've known him.
You see this? Right. You want to know why?
With
Because
white
I've
hair.
almost died 60 times.
You have died a couple times.
Me too, and I haven't looked 20 years older.
But
Maybe you have. What's the lifespan of a dragonborn?
That's
Is it like
serious. It's not gonna end well.
if it's considerably longer than like 20 years? You wouldn't change that much, you know?
20 years and I might be dead serious. I'm
Oh, okay, never
52.
mind.
You're not allowed to be dead, Harriet. No one can be dying. I don't want you guys dying.
That's not in the plan.
well, death is
Shouldn't-
inevitable.
We'll do our
Joke
best,
about
Damon.
death. I know that, and I just don't want to be a part of your guys' death.
I mean, does anybody?
Kanan,
Some
no one here is planning on dying. But know also that every person here chose this path. We know what we're risking. If we want to go home, we could.
I don't want you to go home, I guess.
There's so much left to do. I'm not going home yet.
Gotta free your lady.
His lady.
Ooh.
Is that what you're calling her now? I'm not sure how a relationship with a tiefling and a arch whatever is going to work out, but we'll see.
All right.
Well, I don't know how long until we should rest, but I'm kind of feeling the weight of the day.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
All right. So are you all keeping watches or no?
Probably.
Yeah.
Just because I don't think any of us are willing to just conk out and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Go ahead and
Zeros
figure
will
out
take,
a
like-
watch order.
Yeah. Zeros will take probably the last one.
I'll do
Someone
the
else will
last two. So
I'll take the first.
I'll take the second.
Cool.
I'll
Sounds
take
good.
something.
You'll take
Join
sleeping.
me.
If Harriet wants to take the
Sleeping.
first, then they'll have two on each.
Okay. Sounds great. All right, so the lot of you settle in for an uneasy night, but sleep finds you all fairly easily once you settle in. The weariness from the events of the day and the past few weeks taking their toll. Your rest as you sleep is silent, black, and lonely, much like the tunnels that you've been traveling through, and your sleep passes slowly, the night feeling like it drags on. Whoever's on first watch, go ahead and make perception checks. Oh, great. You notice on the first watch that it's just nothing. I mean, these tunnels are abandoned. Not like they're overrun with, oh yeah, they were used at one point and like a sewer, there are now rats living in there. There's just nothing. It's just black and dark, and the halls are basically uniform in how they've been carved. But the rest of your watch passes without issue. Next
Can
watch.
I-
Oh, go ahead.
Let me look at specifics. Can I, just for the sake of comfort, use Druidcraft to make a small like campfire thing
Yeah, do you have
with
materials?
a bunch of sticks? I have a bunch of sticks in my bag, probably.
Either you do or you don't. What does
I
your
mean,
inventory say?
I imagine explorer's pack, smith's tools for
Okay,
some
you've got
reason.
a tinder box, so you can make. You
tinder
got
box,
torches, so
torch,
you can make
yeah.
a torch. Yeah.
Cool.
Gotta mark
I'm gonna
off
make
one
a
torch. Because each torch lasts
Cool.
about an hour.
Okay.
So 2 torches if you want it for your full shift.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll use 2 torches.
Right. Sounds great. So you've got the fire to kind of keep you, a little bit comforted. And during your watch, you get a good look around, and there really is just no indication of where you are, how far you've traveled, what part of the city or world you're under. You're just in this dark tunnel that ventures off into nothing on both ends. But your watch comes to an end, and you wake. There's 4 watches in a night. You wake, and whoever's up next, I believe, Kanan?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And Harriet, are you going with Kanan or no?
Sure.
I don't know.
I'll
who's going in
join.
what order.
I don't remember where I got thrown, so.
Okay. So go ahead and make
I'll
a
join
perception
Kanan if
check
she'll let
each.
me.
Perception check.
19 for Kanan. Great, now
Yeah,
we're going to get
it's
copyright
good.
claimed.
Oh no!
Just kidding.
Yeah, Lucas.
Not if we're singing.
Fun fact: a friend of mine has a cease and desist letter from Lucasfilms framed in their house.
That is so cool.
Okay, 19 for Kanan, 17 for Harriet. Great. Yeah, you notice the same thing that and Ira noticed. There's just an absence of any kind of clarity. You get the feeling that whoever did use this tunnel, whether it was Nas or not, or whatever they were built for, just had to memorize the entire map of it. However many there are, however far they go. But other than that, there's just it's just a distinct absence of noticeable things. If you have anything you'd like to talk about, feel free, or we can move on to the next watch.
Harriet, who do you think used these tunnels?
I mean, Balthazar mentioned Nas, right?
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
seem. I would imagine if someone else wandered down here, he'd probably make quick work of them.
I've just been imagining people during the revolution using these to sneak around.
Maybe that's kind of what we're doing, right? Revolution, sneaking around.
Yeah. I'm just scared of the revolution part and the taking responsibility after we've done the chaos and the revolutionizing.
I won't doubt our role in that chaos and the revolutionizing. But we're not the only ones who instigated that, right?
Revolution.
That there's a reason we're doing this. We're not doing chaos for chaos' sake. The chaos is not the goal. The chaos is the result of what we're working towards. And there's
Yeah.
gonna be chaos when I would rather have chaos than strict lawful existence of evil. Chaos is better than that, right? If everything is all right and normal and upright, but if we look at it, it's horrible. That's what we're learning here, right? It looks all okay from the outside, but chaos is needed for change.
I guess so. You've always got really good things to say, Harriet.
Well, you too, so you rub off on me.
I just kind of ask a bunch of questions.
Well, I admire that about you. So I spent a lot of time of my life, and still do, not asking any questions ever, and I am fine not asking them. I really am. I love
That's
asking
really-
you guys questions, but not me. So that, there's more credit to asking questions than you're giving yourself.
I think maybe you're talking more for yourself maybe you're running from something you don't want to see by not asking those questions yourself.
That's exactly it.
I'm not gonna comment on, because I respect you and you've lived a much longer life than I have. But I guess if you want change in your life as well, you might also need to ask those questions and make a little chaos.
You're probably right.
And I'm here for you if you need that. I mean, I talk all the time, so I could stand to listen sometimes.
I like your talking and your listening, Kanan. There's just some things I like talking about a lot more. So, like nice things. You and I have talked about this. We've bumped heads about this. I much prefer talking about nice things and thinking about nice things, and
Yeah, I mean that's what I think Anira and Zarius were talking about. The whole chaos brings change thing is that's the great part. Like you said, looking at the chaos makes it look bad, but if you look at the change, it's probably a good thing. But we should probably wake up Varus.
He's a heavy sleeper. Might take both of us.
Well, I'll get the water and you get the blanket.
You have water?
Wrong character. That was the last guy. That was Wally.
All right, you wake Varus for the shift. Varus, you are awoken.
Not using water, just regular.
The quarterstaff.
And is anyone on watch with Varus? I don't think so, right?
It's just me.
Okay.
And I'm gonna run to the restroom.
Sure. Go ahead
Zarius was
and
running
make...
on the last one. But...
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check. Yeah, you notice the same as everyone else, and you kind of, that weight of just being alone in this dark, quiet place is kind of starting to hit you. You know, you went from being in such, surrounded by, maybe not admiring fans, but people who were observing your work nonetheless, whole city's worth, and now you've transitioned from that into this empty, cold, dark, quiet place. But your watch passes without issue. You're free to wake up Zarius to join you for the final watch.
Wake up, sleepyhead.
It's that time already.
Yeah. You want me to do another one?
No, it's fine. All right, yeah, Zarius, same kind of thing. That weight of just being alone, being in this cave, no real way out that you can tell. It's just an endless, empty, black void in every direction. It really starts to weigh in on you. But if you all would like to talk about anything, you can. Otherwise, we can continue on. Either way's okay.
Lars.
That's my name.
What do you want now? Because that was your thing, right? And now we're leaving. The arena, the glory.
Well, I still want the same thing that I always have. I still want to make people happy. And I still want people to know that I'm the one making them happy. I think just the way of bringing that about has changed in my mind. You know, I see Nos and, I saw Nos and that could have been me at the top. Maybe not as interfering in the way that he charms people. But that could have been me. I could have been the guy on top. But I don't know if that's necessarily something that I want anymore. Because, one, it's a lot of responsibility, and you know how I am with responsibility, but people like that, they tend to go a bit... They tend to lose a little bit of themselves. From what I've observed, at least. I wouldn't want that to happen to me.
No, we need every bit of ours we have.
That's what I'm here for. But yeah, still a lot of things I have to figure out. Because there's a lot of things that we don't know. We're going to have a steep, at least that's the plan right now, and I don't think that should change. I think we should be doing this. But when we get there, you know, there's a lot that we don't know.
Yeah.
I'd
It's a
ask
question I've...
but I think I know what your answer is. You want to bring her back. No?
Partially. It's a question I've been asking myself a lot lately.
Yeah?
I mean... Yeah. Why? What do I want?
Why be here when you can just go home and be happy?
I mean... My ultimate goal is... originally, a long time ago, was kind of just to, you know, become famous, show people that, you know, not all tieflings are these demonic beings, that we can be good too, but... I mean, and I guess in a way we're still doing that. Helping dethrone dictators and such. But... I'm not sure what I'm doing. I know we're going to have a steep, but I mean, why? I'm traveling with you guys because I enjoy your company. I see you as, you know, my found family, if you will. And I want to keep you alive, but I'm not sure what we're doing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no. It's definitely a reason that's been keeping me around for a while as well. Just wanting to be with everyone and make sure they're safe. If anyone's going to go, me first, you know? Everyone else is the priority. That's how I feel. That's how it seems you feel. How probably everyone else in this group feels. And that's enough of a reason as any. As long as we have a direction as a group, which is...
Yeah, have a steep at the moment.
At the moment.
I fear what will happen when we don't have a direction.
I feel the same way.
And I don't know how to achieve my goals. It's not clear head to have a steep, because my goal isn't to have a steep. There's not a step-by-step manual, if you will, to what I want. I don't know. I mean, I talk a lot about, you know, one thing at a time, focus on what's ahead of us, but I think that's partially just because I'm afraid to look further.
Yeah. I agree. Well, that's what we're all here for. We're here for each other, for these things that we're afraid of.
Yeah.
We can't hear you, Matt.
Oh no!
Yeah, Matt,
Now
I
we
can't.
can hear you.
How about I unmute my microphone? So eventually, you all wake from rest, feeling somewhat refreshed. But physically, but still mentally and emotionally weary. What would you all like to do?
Just keep walking.
Yeah, do you guys
Wait,
remember
right.
the direction we were walking? Because I can't really
Maybe
remember.
we should.
What's
No,
it
good
going?
point.
It's either that way or that way.
No one left any indication of your direction of travel. So,
Other
2 people make an intelligence check.
intelligence.
I got one. Intelligence. Which skill is intelligence?
It's just a stat.
I couldn't find it. Oof.
13. You got one more if you want.
Does anyone else want to get?
I'll do it.
Probably me, sorry.
Intelligence.
Oh no.
Yeah,
About
buddy.
as good as we thought.
So, Kanan, you start by
Intelligent.
really examining the walls and really trying to find a clue, and you swear you left a marking and scratched it into the wall, and you're really looking around, and Anira just says, "Our footprints go from this way to this way, so it's that way." But, are you all eating before, or are you gonna eat later?
Yeah, Zarius will cast create food and water
Cool. All right. You got supplies
and
for
make
the
a
day.
meal.
Yeah, you got 40 pounds of food and I think 20 gallons of water.
Yeah, so we'll eat what we want now, and then carry maybe not all of that.
Yeah, it's got to fill
What
a
if we just
container.
made 20 gallons of tea?
Well, I think I'll just fill my water skin real quick.
Yeah, when you cast it, you've got to fill a container. So I would say, for the sake of this,
Yeah.
you could fill their bags, or you could fill, but you gotta be putting it in something.
Yeah. So we'll put it in we'll fill up our water canteens,
Yeah.
bottles.
I'm gonna
whatever
fill
you
up my
wanna call
stolen haggled teacup
Yeah.
from.
them. And just maybe one big bag, and then we'll take out of that.
Okay, sounds good. So you've got your food set for the day, because it expires at the end of the day.
Yep.
But you've got your
24
food and
hours.
you're ready to go. So far, you've continued onward down this path at a slight decline, the floor receding away and downward from you. You travel on, your feet leaving prints in the dusty stone floor, and feel the air grow slightly warmer and more humid. Where you'd think you'd be going further underground, a few hours into your walking, you reach out and run your fingers along the stone wall, and feel a slight dampness between your fingertips. And Ira, with your affinity for nature, you notice that there are imperceptible spores of moss or some kind of mold beginning to form under the dampness. What would you all like to do?
It's life.
Are they speaking to you, Anira?
I'm switching to my headphones so I don't have an echo. 1 second.
Okay,
She's switching to the headphones so she can speak to the plants.
that's what it really is.
Hear what they're saying.
Well, they aren't saying anything to me if they're trying to speak, but there's just I can feel like moss. So we're either close to land or very, very underground. That was my cat.
I hear life. All right. You continue walking forward, ever forward, and find the air growing warmer still, and even more humid. You can even hear the occasional echo of a drip from the ceiling somewhere in the distance, and the ground underfoot has ceased to be dusty and has transformed into a thin, silty mud, scarcely covering the stone floor. More dampness covers the walls, and Anira, you notice that there is a thin slime along the walls, some kind of algae or moss, where the dampness has coalesced and begun to run down to the floor. Zarius, you also hear in the distance, echoing from somewhere out of sight, a slight squeaking or chirping noise, just like... But you can't hear where it came from. What would you all like to do?
Do you guys think we're nearing the river? He said if we went this way, we'd end up by the river.
Didn't he say it'd be several days to get out, though?
Oh, right.
A couple, at least.
There's one way to find out.
I can run ahead, maybe.
Maybe we should stick together.
Yeah, for now. Just, we don't know what's down here.
Right. Or, it's just wet underground.
One way to find out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, slime now, too, though. It's, ugh.
Yeah, it's a marked difference from before, because you have been traveling basically through a solid stone tunnel. Like, there have been no gaps in the walls at the corners or anything like that, and now there's water leaking in and plants growing and stuff, so... yeah.
The fact that there's water is strange. Maybe we're under a river or something?
Wait. As we continue onward and find out. I mean, I'd rather not dig up if we're under a river.
Yeah, we don't really
I've
have
had
anywhere
one
to go.
time
But
trying to survive a river. That was enough.
We got teleported into the middle of that ocean once.
I don't think Jen's ship is going to pull up in this tunnel. So
It shows up at the most random moments, like it showed up in the rain. It
It
could.
dropped out of the sky once.
It is entirely possible.
I'm willing to be pleasantly surprised.
Okay. Another
Onwards,
few
then.
hours of walking, and you come upon a sort of semicircular opening, and what is apparently the low point, since as you approach, you find yourself standing in about 6 inches of gritty, thick mud and standing water. The ceiling is a few feet higher here, and the walls seem a little worn, either from the water or intentional carving, you can't be sure. Directly in front of you, the path continues onward with the slightest elevation upwards. Spaced evenly around the semicircle, you see 2 other openings, both smaller than the main path, but still even and clearly not of natural origin. These 2 offshoots are both about 4 feet high, and 2 of you catch the faintest whiff of a perception check.
Oh, I got it.
What do your tiefling nose hear?
What does my tiefling eyes smell?
Oh,
A lot, apparently.
Yeah,
they be
Alright.
smelling.
they do be sniffing. And 25 from Bars. Okay, great.
Yeah, Varus.
So down the
Team.
closest path, who's taking the close path and who's taking the further path? It doesn't really matter.
Xeris will take the close one.
I'll
Okay.
do the further one.
Okay. Down the closest path, you, Varus, smell once again the same damp, cool air that you've been surrounded by for the last day, with the faintest hint of vegetation, like the roots of plants or maybe mushrooms or something. It's very earthy. Down the other path, Xerius, you catch the foul, distinctive odor of vermin. You can't be sure from where exactly, but the pathway is filled with the pungent and thick scent of some kind of pest. You also catch the same squeaking noise that you heard down the hallway, that same... What would you all like to do?
There's something in there. Jeez, really picked the wrong tunnel.
Smells like plants this way.
Just
What's in-
trade.
feel like I know Anira's vote.
Well, no. Let's talk about this. What do you mean? What was in your tunnel, Xerius?
I don't know, but it smells horrid.
Can I go try and take a whiff
Sure, yeah.
Be my
to
guest.
see if I recognize it?
Yeah. Go ahead and make a perception check.
What? Nah.
It smells like rats. It smells like a nest of rats.
Okay. It just smells like rats.
Well, I mean, rats live underground, right? Maybe there's just a big old nest of them.
I mean, that's likely. I was about to say, since you can hear them, but I can't hear them, only Xerius can.
Yeah, there's squeaking sounds, so it probably is rats.
It's probably rats.
Matt, you said this was like 2 offshoots?
There are 2 offshoots in this semicircle. Yeah, there's also a path that just continues the direction that you were headed.
Okay.
Did you see, was it just like a room, or was it like a continuing tunnel, or... Either of you?
Didn't look further.
I see darkness.
It's dark.
It just goes.
It looks like we have 3 options. There's the rats, whatever virus smelled over there, and then
Plants.
yeah, plants, and then this larger one that seems to just keep going the way we were going.
I mean, if we wanted to try and make friends with rats, I could speak to them, but otherwise, yes, my vote is for the plants.
So
Or you
what
said
would
there's just one going straight, right?
Yeah, this one, the way we have been going.
Can I just go check out the plant one?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, it's easy enough. You just crawl right into that little hallway. It's like, it's a couple feet shorter than the one that you're currently in. You climb in there and you head down, and you have to go a good 60, 70 feet. But it just ends in a collapsed pathway. Vegetation has collapsed it. The weight of roots and mushrooms. The walls and ceiling are cracked, and you can see signs of it beginning to crumble. And you get the immediate and distinct impression that this does not bode well for the rest of the tunnel that you all are in. If it's cracking here, it's gonna crack elsewhere and collapse in. So that immediately sends that danger sense up of probably need to get a move on kind of feeling.
Yeah. All right. I will head back up and climb through and be like, we're going down the middle hall. Let's go. Let's go. We're going. Let's go. We're going.
What was down there?
That's
What-
not friendly.
We're going. Come
Okay.
on. Nope, it's perfectly friendly. This might collapse onto us, so let's go. Let's go. Let's
yeah,
go.
let's get out of here.
We're going.
Naira, I have never seen such initiative.
Let's go. Let's go.
Very impressed, but yeah, let's.
I have seen the power of nature, and if it falls on you, you will die. We are going.
I have seen.
Well, all right.
Oh, trust me, I've had my time suffocating in dirt. Let's go.
Oh, that was bad.
My cat agrees. Let's go.
Remember you were talking about Kanan?
No, my
Did you just
Sky's
call Kanan
cat.
your cat?
Sky's cat.
Oh,
Who's yelling in the background.
That is Kanan.
Kanan's in my room, by the way.
My reptile agrees. My cat agrees.
Okay, you push forward down the path in front of you in a little bit of a hurry, and you feel the air again begin to grow warmer. Finally, the edges of your ears and fingertips feel some relief from the deep cool of the underground area that you've been traveling in, and finally warm in the ambient air. The side walls of the pathway have begun to show some texture from the overgrowth of algae, both living and crusty and dry in some places, indicating the changes in humidity and water flow over time. Overhead, you can't make out any sort of cracks in the stone, but along the edges, water still seeps onto the walls and runs down to the floor. You continue on, leaving muddy footprints in your wake, until two of you hear a perception check in the distance.
I hear
I'll
that.
take one.
okay.
Because I'm not wanting to be crushed by dirt.
22 for Kanan and 24 for Naira. Okay, great.
Okay, guys.
It's difficult to make out for certain, but the two of you hear what sounds like an intense thunder somewhere in the distance. But it isn't the draft you feel that's begun to blow warm air in front of you. Sorry, I wrote this very confusingly. You begin to feel warm air blowing in front of you in kind of a draft, but that's not the sound that you're hearing. It's something else. Something sounds like thunder in the distance. Then, you and Ira especially, you recognize the sound as the cacophonous sound of an immense flow of water somewhere further along in the cave and out of sight. On a further listen, it does sound like the amount of water moving is substantially more than you initially thought. It sounded at first, maybe this could be a waterfall or something like that. But it does, now that you're really focusing on it, sound like a ton of water. But it sounds like it's muffled, like maybe you're hearing the noise from behind a wall or something. What would you all like to do?
So, whatever way we're going, there's water this way. And there's a hell of a lot of it.
Maybe it's the sound of a river and we follow it?
I mean, we don't really have many other options, right?
Yeah, it's either that or the rats.
We could talk to the rats, but that would require going back and adding more time down here,
I
and...
think we just keep going
Run.
with haste.
All right. Continuing forward, you press forward and the noise of water grows louder and louder, eventually drowning out all efforts to communicate to each other through normal speech. You have to shout to hear at each other. The wind gusting from in front of you has begun to blow harder and harder, flapping your clothing behind you and tussling your hair and fur. Underfoot, the path has rapidly shifted into a steep incline that you have a hard time keeping your balance on due to the slick mud and dust underfoot. Along the edges of the path, you begin to spot small piles of debris and mounds of dirt, as well as lots of small pebbles and rocks that have fallen from somewhere in the pathway and gotten wedged in the corners. Still, you see no light in front of you or behind. Another hour of hiking up this steep incline, and it finally levels out some, giving your weary legs a break. The deafening sound of water thundering somewhere nearby has lessened somewhat, enabling you to have a conversation again, but it can still be heard pounding away in the distance. At the edges of your vision, you can just make out the pathway curving sharply to the left, an errant beam of reflected sunlight dancing through the muggy air and revealing the carved stone wall in the first bit of real light you've seen in a day and a half, 2 days. The light reveals the brackish sludge covering the floor that you've been trudging through, as well as the sad state of the lot of you, each one covered in dirt, grime, blood, and sweat. The curving path ahead twists out of sight. What would you like to do?
Full send. We're going. I'm going.
Okay. You move forward towards the light, and as you turn the corner, you feel the first wind pick up. You first feel the wind pick up, and then see a thick tangle of roots dangling down and obscuring the rest of the path in front of you, filtering in the bright sunlight. Dirty water drips from the roots and splashes into the slop on the ground beneath, and the ceiling overhead is cracked, broken, and falling apart. Huge chunks of stone are missing, and you can see the surge of plant life has pushed even further in, the force of nature slowly but surely wearing away at the carved path. Beyond the muddled mess of roots, you squint to see the real cave opening exit at a roughly 45-degree angle from you right now. Everything outside of it is totally obscured by the intense light, but you'll have to hack through the roots if you want to squeeze by. What would you all like to do?
Can I try... I'm trying to read my spells.
How deep do these roots go? Like, is it like a thick layer of them, or is it just like a solid wall?
It's a bunch of them all woven together, like vines, kind of.
Okay. And we can see the other side?
You can see light filtering through there, but again, the exit is just, it's like holding a bright light up to a camera. It's just washed out. You can't see.
Okay.
I've talked to plants before.
Naira, remember the other day when I was joking about you asking the ferns to let us out?
I've talked to plants before.
You do that
Where's
with
my
the blackberries?
spell? Yeah. I can't find the spell.
It's called Speak with Plants.
I've done it before. Oh, speak with animals. Create or destroy.
Third level.
That's where I was. Okay, it's third level. I was looking first and second. Okay, can I just try? I just want to see what happens, and I want to speak with plants.
Cool. So you cast it, and all the plants within 30 feet of you have limited sentience and animation. You see, as you cast this, the roots nearest you kind of shake as if they're stretching out from a long sleep. They don't speak to you immediately. You just see them kind of like shifting around and working.
Hello. I haven't done this in a little while. Can we just scoot past you, potentially?
Who are you?
Well, my name is Anira. I originally lived in the forests around the Isle of Restel. I'm a druid. I'm a friend of nature, and my friends here are the Vagabonds. We're running from Renavash, and we're just trying to get away.
I don't care.
You asked who I was, and I'm very nervous.
You are from Verstel.
Yes. Fuck, I'm getting a call. 1 second.
You're good. Yes.
The plants are calling. That's what we hear on this plant
Yeah, that's the sound of plants.
And I was beatboxing.
Yeah. So that's what Fernal is.
Just Fernal.
Well, infernal is for the devils, and
Outfernal.
infernal is for ferns.
Infernal, outfernal.
Let us out, Fernal.
Outside fernal.
Mmm.
Now we're getting somewhere.
We've cracked
Okay,
the code.
hi. Sorry.
You're good.
Uh,
You're good.
I have to leave around 8 to do something, then I'll be back real quick.
Cool.
But, okay. The Ent just told me he didn't care, and I'm from Verstel.
Yeah. He asked again. You are from Verstel.
Yes. Well, no, but yes. But no.
I was a seedling in Verstel. I've
Really?
stretched my roots long and far around this river.
Love that for you. Good job.
Why do you seek passage?
We are kind of wanted dead in Renovash, and this was the only way we could get out.
Death is just a part of life. Why not die here and now?
Well, we have a mission. We're on our way to do some stuff for some friends who are in trouble.
Trouble.
Yes.
Very well. I will move for you. But be warned, this will be my only favor. And you see the roots just separate all the way through the entire hallway, leaving a nice, evenly walked path.
My friends here were about to just hack your roots from you. So that's not meant to be a threat, but this was the better outcome for both of us, I feel.
It just doesn't respond.
Cool, thank you. And she'll walk through.
Okay. All right.
That seems like it went well.
Well, that was... He said it was his last favor, so hopefully we don't have to ask for more favors, and apparently that tree has stretched his roots from Verstel, which is I think a long way from where we are, so who knows? We might...
That's really impressive.
Right? I told him good job. I don't think he appreciated the compliment, though. And they can probably still
looks
hear
like
me
he did.
talking because it's within 30 feet. So I don't know if he appreciated the compliment, though. But he did. I told him he did a good job. Because that's a feat.
Best pass real quick.
Thank you, and I'll kind of give like a little pat to one of the roots as I'm walking.
As you touch it, it kind of recoils for a second and then sinks into your hand.
Aww.
All right. So you make your way through the rest of the roots and push out towards the exit, the blinding bright light obscuring your vision. Are you all exiting?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. You push out of the cave, lifting yourself to the entrance and shielding your eyes from the intense sun. After a moment, your eyes adjust, though still sensitive to the light, and you realize it's about midday. The delightful sound of birds chirping reaches your ears, and you feel the soft embrace of the sun-warmed grass as you roll down the slight hill leading up to the immense tree stump. The hole is nearby. The area around you is a large plain full of tall grass, wheat, and rich with life. In the distance, maybe a mile or two off, you see the wide and intensely flowing Verstel River. You take a moment to breathe in the fresh air for the first time in several days, bathing in the intense sunlight and enjoying being out of the caverns. What would you all like to do?
Naira's just standing there, face up, eyes closed. Just soaking in sun.
One last note. You do notice that the exit that you came out of is not the original exit. You see rubble from the stonework broken all over the place. It seems that wherever this tunnel was supposed to end has been broken or cut off or something like that. You're exiting earlier than you were supposed to.
Can I look around kind of the way we came? When we get to a point that I could see, can I see if there's like a river? If I can trace that to like the rushing water we heard?
Yeah, you would just be able to tell this. You definitely get the sense that the river that you see in the distance, the Verstill River, is the same river that you heard underground. It just, the amount that is above ground is substantially less than the actual amount flowing under the ground.
Yeah.
So, rather than being like a normal 10-foot deep river or whatever, this thing is like 100 and 200 feet deep. It's just a big, long column.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, now what?
Now we found Latchwire?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to kind of stop in a town.
Can we see Renovash from where we are?
You
Like,
see,
whereabout are we?
So, I'll put you on the map. You are about here.
Okay.
And I'll put everyone on the map for the audience as well. Bloop.
Ooh.
Whoa!
So that's about where you are. Actually, I should change it so you don't have the question mark anymore, because you know where you are.
Question?
Maybe
No, I'm still
we're there?
confused. I think we might be there. Maybe
Staring
we're up here.
at
We
the-
don't really know.
Staring at the river is like, where are we?
That could be any river. Any river. At any point.
So yeah, the river's about a mile or two off.
Okay. So we probably have to
We're-
cross it, right?
We weren't too far off the point. It doesn't look like.
We've got a ways to go, though.
Yeah, I think we go to that city and maybe bed there for the night. It might be nice to sleep in an actual bed.
We can get there
I
tonight.
agree.
If we can get there tonight. I don't know.
How are they going to receive us? You think?
One way to find
I
out.
know.
I'm not sure what our standing in these local towns are at the moment.
I don't think we're that
Hopefully they
famous.
haven't heard of us yet.
First thing we should do is clean up. We still all have, wounds on us, blood.
We
There
have,
is a river right there.
we have to cross the river. So maybe once we get to the crossing, we'll take a little dip.
Take a communal bath. That sounds nice.
Dip? Have you seen that thing?
And I do have ways of helping us. Like we did in the arena, I can help us walk across so we don't have to fight the tides.
I think there's a bridge.
Is there a bridge? I don't see one.
I mean, not here, but I would assume, because... I mean, Xerius would probably have a basic understanding of where the cities are, right?
Yeah, you also have a map. So
Yeah. Well, there you
Do
go.
we have like the map?
you have this map. Yeah.
We do.
Okay.
Oh, I
there you
didn't
Looking
know
at
that.
Xerius would be like, well, I think this is a bridge.
We're having like a tourist moment. We're all crowded
We're all
around
clamored
this
up.
map.
No,
With,
it's
like,
upside down. It's
eightfolds.
upside down.
Yeah. Well, you all have the map. Your ability to read the map is another question entirely.
Flip it back.
Is that a town or is that a smudge? I think I might have dropped something on it.
I think that's a tea
Scale on
leaf.
this thing.
Who burned my map? It was probably me.
So yeah, if you all want to try to examine the map and figure out how far it is, how far you might be able to get, two people can make intelligence checks to see how far it would go. Kanan
I'll
would have
make
advantage for her
one.
background feat.
Kanan can do it. I think
I
we're
can
about.
help you.
Okay. So would I do it? How?
So, and Ira will just do regular, and Kanan will do it advantage.
Okay, is it intelligence?
Yeah. 20, pretty good.
Okay.
I think we're about 2 hexagons away.
No.
Kanan ain't got it.
He's had a rough night.
Yeah, so it's about a mile or two to the river, and you can kind of triangulate your position based on where Renovash is, where you are, where the river is, those kinds of things. And you figure it would take you about the rest of the day. You'd be arriving in Latchwire in the evening time. It'd be like maybe 6, 7 o'clock. But you could make it today if you wanted to.
We could make it.
I say we make it. Better that than sleep out in the open. Plus, who knows if they've heard of us or anything.
As I say, one way to find out.
Yeah.
Well, there's multiple ways to find out.
You also will need to stock up on rations and those kinds of things once you get to town if you're going to continue traveling. Because otherwise, unless you're going to keep casting the create food and water, which you can. I'm not telling you how to do things, but... Alright. So, you venture off, setting yourselves in the general direction of the area within Haversteep's influence. In the long term, right? You're heading out that direction. Directly to Latchfire. You all are feeling a little tired from the long hours of walking underground, but being back in the sunlight again, feeling the tall grasses brush against you, hearing the birds delightedly chirping, is enough to inspire you to continue walking. Also, being out in the open when you're running essentially as fugitives is good motivation to find a place soon.
Yeah.
2 people make perception checks as you're traveling.
I'll make one.
I can get my sheet open. There we go.
Ooh.
Serious on point. All right. You continue on and soon find yourselves nearing the Verstel River, the banks. I gotta change one thing here. The first time that you came across the Verstel River was many, many miles further downstream. And while the river was wide there, it was nothing like you see in front of you now. A raging torrent of whitewater rapids churns and rushes to the south, the steep and rocky banks descending about 15 feet to the surface of the water. The banks are essentially a sheer drop into the rocky water below, and you guess that if any of you were to fall, you'd quickly be swept under and either crushed from smashing into the rocks or drowned from the pull of the undertow. The river stretches about 100 feet across, and on the other side, you see a rough dirt path appear about 50 feet from the riverbank, apparently worn in from travelers. But from here, you can't quite make out which direction it heads other than away from the river. What would you all like to do?
Guys, I'm starting to think that maybe taking a dip to clean off is a bad idea.
At least here.
Yeah.
Shall I let us be able to walk?
Sirius, as you're talking, you keep scanning around, and your keen senses pick up something you hadn't noticed before. About 50 feet from where you currently are, you see what looks like a rickety rope bridge that crosses the entire river.
Sirius has seen this one before.
I remember the mountain map.
Sirius's favorite enemy.
I mean, I have a cork right here. I guess we could. I mean...
It's either that or there's a bridge over there. It is the second sketchiest bridge I've seen in the past year.
I might still cast it just in case.
And the last time I saw a bridge like
of
this,
mind,
I almost fell off a mountain.
it was close. It was way too close.
Okay. I will, even though we're planning on taking the bridge, I will cast Water Walk on everyone, just in case.
All right, go ahead and mark off the spell slot.
Yep.
And you're heading to the bridge, though?
Yes.
Okay. As you approach, you see that the rope bridge sags very low, especially in the center, where it actually sinks below the surface of the water for a few feet, occasionally flapping around in the torrent, floating to the surface, and then being sucked under the water once again. The ropes appear sturdy enough for you to cross. They appear sturdy enough for you to cross, and you see that the parts that hang closer to the water are covered with the slick-looking green algae, but it seems sturdy enough. The posts holding the ropes on either side are thick and made from stone rather than wood, and the actual floor of the bridge is a lattice work of intertwining ropes that allow the water to pass through, but will make for a challenging walk. It seems that this bridge is intended to be used when the river is low, which you and Ira would know to be about a month prior to now.
Only we've done the resolution a month ago.
As I'm going to be honest, this is really sketchy. And I don't have the best track record.
Well, you can walk on water. You're fine.
How about this? Zarius, come here.
Yeah?
I'm gonna grab Zarius by the cheek, and I'm gonna say, You know, sometimes you can just run from your problems, but this time you're going to fly on it. And I'm going to fly on Zarius.
Okay. Zarius, you feel yourself lift gently off the ground with a sudden sensation that you can go any direction you'd like to, but with no idea how to control it.
Oh my god!
You just go straight up.
It's going to push Zarius in the direction of across the bridge.
There's like flapping his arms. Trying to
You start to
control
move.
him.
You with Varus's push, you float about halfway over the river, and you just sort of slow down, looking down, and you see this thing would easily sweep you under if you fell.
Okay, let's just keep going.
You keep pushing and pushing.
Yeah. Is he moving, or is he just kind of like doing this in the
Down
air?
and use the rope.
It's moving real slowly, but you're moving. Yeah.
Doesn't know how fly works.
Yeah. Eventually, Zarius, you drift the rest of the way across, and you find yourself floating still over the other riverbank. The rest of you are still on this side. If you're going to cross the river, we could do that, or otherwise, what would you like to do?
Okay, bye, Zarius.
Hope you find your dad!
Forrest will start walking on to the bridge.
Storming the castle.
And water walk has been cast on us, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Y'all can walk on water.
How far does it look?
It's across the river. It's like 60, 65
Yeah.
feet.
And you've got an
Kanan's
hour.
gonna dash for it. She's gonna run as fast as she can just across the water.
Sure. Make 2 dexterity checks.
Get it, Dash, like the Incredibles. No one? Okay.
I guess.
No, I'm. Hold on, I have to laugh.
No.
Okay. And now you're... Can you walk across water yet? As a monk? I know
No,
you have
but-
water walk.
Yeah, it's been
Okay.
cast on us.
Sure. It's a lot like... So you start to sprint out, and immediately the ground is just... What you would step on is swept out from under your feet. So you are on top of the water, but it's like stepping onto one of... Like a treadmill or something. And you are not moving the right speed. You step, your foot hits the water right away, and you're immediately swept out from underneath you. You fall flat, hard on the surface of the water, bouncing up almost a little bit and getting tangled up in the rope bridge. With that second dexterity check, you're unable to remove yourself from this thing, and you feel yourself being pulled against, having the water just propel you against the ropes. So you're not under the water, but you are definitely prone and wrapped up in the water.
Oh, guys.
Can I-
Ow.
Can I take the bridge and try and help her?
Sure, yeah. Make a dexterity check.
Okay, character sheet. Core. Dexterity check.
All right. You get a few feet further than Kanan, but as soon as you go to step onto where the rope would be, it dips down from your weight into the water, and you step on the water instead, and it sweeps out from under you. You manage to hold onto the rope bridge and keep yourself upright, but you are not making any further progress as of right now.
Okay, can I try and head back to the bank?
Yeah, I mean, you could continue trying if you want to, but that's just your first check. So if you want to try to get to where Kanan is, you can make another dexterity check.
No, can I go back?
Yeah, you can go back. Yeah.
Okay. Do I need to check for that?
No, you're good.
Cool. Can I instead wild shape into like my giant eagle, probably,
Yeah.
and try a swoop and grab Kanan, which
Sure.
would probably be a little hard, but
Yeah, she's wrapped up in a rope bridge, but yeah, you can try.
or can I like, you know what I mean? Like at least like help her get stable. Like, oh, can I lift up the rope bridge?
You certainly can. Yeah.
There we go. That's
Okay.
how I'll do it.
Make a strength check.
I want to hover and lift up the rope bridge so
Athletics
she
if
can
you
at
have
least get her
athletics
footing.
as the giant eagle, but
I don't know the stats. I'm just gonna.
oh
My strength is a +0, so that's the d20 roll anyway.
look. Giant eagle. Your strength is +3 for the eagle.
Cool. So 17.
Okay, 17. You swoop down and grab onto the bridge, and you are like beating your wings, lifting. And Kanan's pretty thin, being a tabaxi, but with her weight and the weight of the water pulling down on the rope bridge, you're having a tough time lifting it up. Make one more athletics check, this time with advantage.
Athletics with advantage. Oh, I need to go do the thing.
You're good. Okay, so 17, that's enough.
I'll get the results of this.
Yeah, you're good. You beat your wings and lift up. Kanan, you find yourself out of the water with Anira in eagle form holding the bridge. You've got a moment you can react. If you want to sprint across, you can.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you disentangle yourself and you bolt the rest of the way across the bridge. The rest of you, I think Zarius is good. Varus and Harriet, you are still on the other side. What would you like to do?
I'll just kind of look over at Harriet and... Are you good? Do you need help?
You know, I don't know if good is the word for it, but find a way. If I get sucked away, I'll find Jen, you know? Somewhere at the end of this thing.
I'll be right behind you. Don't let my hands leave your shoulders. And I'll just put my hand on the back of Harriet's shoulder. Kind of come to line.
Baby!
So, to be clear, you both are crossing at the same time?
And I'm still holding the...
Yeah. As an eagle, you were struggling to hold it with one very light tabaxi.
Yeah.
You now have a very heavy dragonborn and an elf walking across at the same time.
What are you saying about me right now?
Very dense and muscular. That's what I'm saying.
Damn.
So,
Good save, Matt.
go ahead and make an athletics check to see if you can hold them up.
Ooh,
Right about when they get to where your
It's gonna
talons
hurt.
are, the rope slips from your talons, and you two both fall slamming down onto the surface of the water and are whipped down, tangled into the ropes.
As soon as we fall, I immediately cast Fly on Harriet.
Okay, well, you're gonna hit the water first, but yeah. So you hit the water, bounce up off of it, and you slap Harriet's back. And she lifts up into the air, floating.
Oh my
god. Okay,
God.
you're good. And Zarius, you fall flat down onto the grass on the other side.
Hey, he was just getting the hang of it. He was probably trying to do a backflip and he lands just on his neck.
What? Is Varus all tangled up in the ropes?
Yeah.
Am I able to try and grab him while flying?
You can try, yeah.
She's gonna try, because she doesn't know what is happening.
Okay, just make an athletics check.
Okay.
21. You get the hang of this flying thing pretty well. It's just like, it feels very natural to you.
Dragon
like
moment.
Maybe some of your ancestors had wings or something. And you push yourself down, and you grab Varus's thin body and just lift him up out of the ropes.
It's just like some weird romance novel with like the buff guy on it, like the long-haired face.
Yeah, you get Fabio hair for a second. Yeah. And you carry him like a baby over onto the shore, and Ira following suit soon after. When you've braved the Verstel River, you all end up on the other side. And as you cross the river, finding yourselves on the other side, you see a small and somewhat overgrown dirt path is formed that curves down and away from the bridge, and in a vaguely northeastern direction. On this side of the river, the dirt has lost all traces of the reddish appearance that it had up until this point, and you see the ground is lush and fertile. Wild plants growing tall and strong with ample sunlight and being watered from the above and below ground Verstel River that you have recently become acquainted with. There's nothing really of note in the immediate vicinity, but it is nice to be able to look out over the rolling plains and see the land disappear into the distant horizon. Okay, that's enough
That
about
was
river.
something.
That was fun, except the part where the river was beating the shit out of me, but that was fun.
I have to agree. Maybe not so good with the water part.
Yeah. It could have
Glad I
been a
didn't
lot
drown,
worse.
though.
I'm just glad we made it.
Yeah.
Me too.
How does that flying thing work?
You just kind of fly.
Cam back, are we good?
Good, you made it
You
across.
just
Okay.
go in one direction and then you go in that
We
direction.
just kind of fly.
Yeah.
Mhm. Definitely. Totally understood.
It's not that hard. Harriet
thought it was
doing
all
just
right.
fine. Yeah.
I'm still an eagle.
So,
You
Leave
just
my
have to
feet on the
believe
ground
that you
for
can
the time.
fly
No, it's a belief.
and believe
thing.
that you can touch the sky. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
Think
Eagle
about
and-
it like a lot, like every night and
Like
day.
every
maybe
night
that
and
might
day.
work.
Okay. Yeah.
Eagle and Naira
Like
gives
mental
Harriet
practicing.
a look.
Okay.
there's another cease and desist for our collection.
Yeah.
Guys, we're gonna have like a full wall.
Right. From checking your map earlier, you know that several smaller towns lie along the path to Haversteep, and stopping in any of them would offer a reprieve from your traveling. Latchrier is the closest town which you all are headed to already, but you can't see it or the woods that surround it as yet. The sun is still high in the sky, and you'd guess it's about 1 or 2 in the afternoon, still fairly early. From where you guessed you were on the map, you'd assume that you'd have at least another 10 to 15 miles, maybe a little more, to go before you reach Latchrier. There is a main paved road that you could travel further to the north that leads up into New Calamon, and from there you could take the main road to Haversteep if you'd like to. But as it stands, I'm guessing that you're going to Latchrier. That's still the plan? Okay.
That sounds about right.
Let's not go to New Calamon.
Okay.
I don't much feel like visiting Course.
I think they'd love us.
Town.
Okay. So we're going to go, I'm going to give you all a little bit of just what you would know about these places. And we can go over it again later as well. But
Okay.
for 2 people, make history checks to see what you know about this area, and I can give you the rundown.
Chris will make one. If I can get to my character sheet. There we go. History. Ooh. Nothing. Well, who am I?
Who am I? Okay,
Thank
anyone else
you.
doing the history check?
I mean, I can do one.
Do it.
Or I'll give
Well, no, if you want me to do
serious
it.
advantage if you want.
Oh, God.
I not it, Chief. I
It
don't
happens.
know. I look over at Zarius and be like, so do you know?
No,
As
Me
you're-
neither.
no clue.
You two are like really racking your brains about what you know about these 2 little small towns, and just
What?
nothing is coming up. You're
Wait,
having.
is this the one with the? Is this the one where they with them and
You
then
know,
her and then they
by the thing.
and then the elf and then the fiery bitch and then I.
Yeah. No. You know, it's been a long day.
In the meantime,
I'm still trying to comprehend how to fly.
In the meantime, Kanan, you remember seeing a bunch of text on the back of the map.
Step by step.
Do I now? Should I make a check? A thing?
Just look at the back of the map if you want.
Just look, don't roll it.
I'll
Please
look
just
at the
look
map.
back at the map.
Hey,
Dear God.
guys, I think there's something on the back of the map.
Oh. Why didn't we think of
I
that,
can
Zarius?
You know, that
read it out
probably
to
make
you
things a lot
guys.
easier.
Okay.
I think there's water in my ear. It's just like,
Okay, so you see little blurbs about a few of these towns. Most of them are faded and smudged and, worn out from your travels. But you do see that there is a little blurb on Latchrier. It's known for processing much of the raw food and other resources gathered from the towns surrounding New Calamon, as it acts as sort of the distribution center for everything that goes into Renovash that doesn't come from the sea. Latchrier is a medium-sized city, and it's independent from a tight allegiance to any of the major cities, but is still fiercely loyal to the Tarred Protectorate. They're very proud of their allegiance. The residents of Latchrier are hardworking and quick to challenge outsiders and travelers if they think they're lazy or they're simply there to mooch off of the rest of the city. Beyond Latchrier is the small town of Halistan. Halistan isn't really known for anything. The little bit that you see on the little Traveler's Almanac or whatever it is here, it's sort of a podunk desert hideaway town. The town itself is larger than a simple village and even boasts a sizable market where locals swap knickknacks and trinkets, but there isn't really anything to see. From what you've heard, people from the town are open to outsiders and travelers, usually believing that people should be welcomed until they give you a reason not to. And just beyond is, further to the east, there's Two Mage Turn, but based on the map, you'd say this is a good distance out of your way. It's a ways out of the way. It'd add a couple days to your traveling. Two Mage Turn is an oddity with lots of conflicting stories that the town said, or the little blurb says there are lots of conflicting stories about Two Mage Turn. Everything from boring stories of kooky old men to fantastical legends of heroic figures surround the origin of Two Mage, part of the name, and the city as a whole has ardently refused to be absorbed by the nearby Tairupan, which has consistently been expanding and growing over the last few decades. One thing nearly all of the accounts that you know of have agreed on, however, is that it isn't the place for casual tourists or those just passing through. Along the road, there's another town away from New Calamon, leading from New Calamon to Haversteep. There's a small city of Noriel. This town is somewhat unlike the other suburbs of New Calamon, where the rest of them, like Camsall and Earview and all of those that are kind of in the immediate vicinity, are relatively poor and generally work farms or fields to provide for the major cities. Noriel is very well off. Many of the more affluent members of the Tarred Protectorate have vacation homes within the city, and it also maintains a sizable and stable local population that lives there year-round. They're somewhat snooty and suspicious of outsiders, but overall it's a safe and mostly affluent community. So, Vagabonds, you have your path in front of you, and you can make decisions about where you want to travel, as far as going to Halistan or Noriel or whatever. But first stop is the Latchrier one, correct? That's where we're headed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. As you head out towards Latchrier, trying to get as much out of the daylight as possible, and still simply enjoying basking in the sun, the memory of the cold, dank, and dark underground is still fresh in your minds. 2 people make survival checks, and 1 make a perception check as you travel.
I'll do a survival.
I can do
Survival.
perception.
I got some survival. It's 2 survival, 1%.
Yeah, I'll do a survival too.
Ooh.
While they're rolling, I'll just go ahead and say that at some point before we get to Latchrier, I will prestidigitate everyone as clean as I can.
Cool. Easy enough, yeah.
And Harriet will use mending, and anyway, if anyone's clothes got all messed up,
Okay,
just
perfect.
like a mom, like, give me that.
Oh, honey, come here.
Okay, great. Yeah, okay. Pretty good rolls, yeah. 19 for survival, 16 survival, Kanan and Harriet, and then 13 for perception for Zarius. Great. So you all walk, sometimes finding slightly overgrown paths, and other times finding neat roads that you follow for a time before they end or you abandon them to stay on course. Led by Kanan and Harriet, you're able to stay pretty good on track for a good amount of the travel there. The lush grasses and soft soil underfoot are a relief to your battle-worn and weary legs and feet, and you can feel a re-energizing essence begin to seep into you with each passing hour. The bright sun peers down warmly on you through a blue and cloudless sky, and the gentle breeze gently sways the stalks of plants and tugs at your hair, fur, and clothing. The rich, almost sweet smell of hardy earth and nature suffuses around you, and you feel yourself somewhat encouraged. The events of the past several months flow in and out of your mind separately, and you all begin to process the events in your own ways, reflecting on the trials and challenges that you've been through, and what the future could hold. You think about the relationships you formed, and those you've lost, about how close you become to one another through these different experiences. If there's anything anyone would like to say, feel free, otherwise we'll progress on to the next thing. Okay. After a few more hours of walking, enjoying the nature and the outdoors around you, Zarius, you first spot in the distance pointed rooftops and stone-walled buildings distinctive of civilization. In the golden setting sunlight, you all begin to see the city of Latchrier rise up before you, evening sun bathing the ruddy rooftops in soft, warm light. You see the numerous windmills scattered throughout the city, as well as several strange-looking coil-like towers made from a metal frame placed on top of a large, square stone structure. All of these are embedded in with modest but functional houses, shops, and other municipal structures. As you draw nearer, you find yourselves nearing the main road leading into town and can see that it is exceptionally wide and well-maintained. Even from where you are about a mile or so out of town, you see that the road is near perfect smooth. One sec here. And it looks to be some kind of black mortar or rock that has been melted down and poured into place, leaving a very stable and long-lasting road in its place. The street is wide enough to easily hold 3 carts side by side, and as you look toward the city, you see that this trend continues far into Latchrier and out of your sight. Closer to the city, you see a few enormous carts towed by equally enormous beasts of burden, whose origins you aren't quite sure of, unless you make a nature check. 2 people, feel free.
I'll get one. That's my whole thing.
Yeah. $23, great.
Hey.
You recognize them. You've seen creatures like this before actually going into Renovage. They are huge dinosaurs that have been, they're like herbivores that have been carted up, and they're hauling these massive, huge, heavy loads that would be impossible for other creatures to carry. A few moments of taking in this new place, and you hear a sharp whistle blare out from several of the buildings, and you hear numerous people throughout the city shout, "Quit time!" A moment after this, and the streets are flooded with people, all dressed functionally and all crowding the streets going this way and that. Latchrier lays before you. What would you all like to do?
I look like a rounded bunch.
They look kind of, I don't know, busy. Working. Is there anyone out there who looks, I don't know, friendly enough to walk up to?
You don't see really, I mean, there's a group of people moving a couple of those big, huge carts, but they're really focused on keeping the creatures in line. They're not like, they don't know you're there or anything. Everyone else you see is inside the city.
I guess we head into the city and try and find a place to stay.
Yeah.
How it works.
All right.
Remember how to be vagabonds again.
So you
Yeah,
venture...
no broth.
Oh, go ahead.
Turn home too.
You venture into the city, and as you get closer, you make out more of the common dress of the people. Everyone seems to be wearing some sort of overall or apron, and most people have marks of dirt, soot, oil, and grease on some part of them. Those that don't have bits of wood and sawdust coating them. As you enter into the actual city, a few people give you a passing examination without stopping their walking, and you feel a distinct out-of-placeness that you felt in many places before, but without any kind of hostility, only caution and suspicion. As quickly as the streets filled, they have begun to clear out, and you can now see the layout of the place a little more clearly. The extremely wide center street runs the length of the city, and every 500 or so feet, there are equally wide streets that run off perpendicularly to the far ends of the city. Down each one of these, you see a windmill and one of those metal coil towers on either side of the street opposite one another, along with large buildings filled with the same gigantic carts that you saw entering the city when you came in. Filling the space between these large structures are lots of multi-story buildings filled with houses, shops, and other structures. Passing by the first of these offshoot streets, you see a sign on the corner that reads, "The Cantankerous Crank." It shows a set of gears propelled by a crank with a bolt wedged between the teeth of the gears, along with several mugs of beer, a turkey leg, a bed, and a bunch of other items that you don't really recognize, all crammed onto this dangling wooden sign.
They've got it all.
That looks like our place.
They look mighty friendly.
Or cranky.
I see what you did there.
Okay, that's really good. All right, so you're heading into the tavern?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds great.
We love a good tavern.
Okay. You pull open the heavy wooden door and find the place to be absolutely packed with all sorts of people. Mostly human.
Amazing.
But intermixed with a good number of dwarves and gnomes and a smaller number of elves and halflings. A half dozen or so servers rush about the room, carrying huge trays of drinks and food to different tables, and most people seem to be heartily laughing and talking after a long day of work. The smell of almost sweet, heavy beer and roasting meat fill the tavern, and you see a number of tables with those same huge trays covered in steaming loaves of bread, piles of roasted vegetables and meat, and scattered about the food are small dishes filled with different seasonings, sauces, and dips. A few musicians in the corner play their instruments, desperately trying to cut through the din of people talking, eating, and relaxing. A few customers turn your way when you enter, but most people seem to be more focused on their own business. After a moment of two are standing near the entrance, one of the servers, a younger human man with dusty brown hair and a narrow chin, approaches, wiping his hands on his once white apron before saying, "Hey, whoa, you're from out of town, huh? What can I get you?"
Oh, well, the food looks really good, and it's been a while since we've had a good meal, so whatever a good hearty meal is, however much that would cost, I'll pay for it.
Hey, you got it. There's a seat over there. If you could find one, go ahead and take it. I'll be over there in a couple of minutes.
Alrighty.
And he just pointed out, when you look, there's no table. You just see people all sitting at all of these different tables. What do you want to do?
Well, I guess we go stand.
We might have to split up.
Yeah, are there like any empty seats, or is it just all?
It's like a full restaurant, but as you're kind of looking around and you know, dispersing out into the nice tavern area there, you see that there's a couple of people starting to like finish their food and get ready to go. That must have been what he was referring to. I mean, they're like 5 minutes from being done.
Yeah.
Are you all going to be those people that just hover until they're
Yes.
okay.
Get out! We're there. Freaking all our weapons strapped.
That's great. Okay. Cool.
We could just wait at this entry. I'm not here to terrorize anybody out of a good, relaxing dinner moment.
Oh, alright. I didn't think he was sending us to the table.
A few minutes go by, and the people who you've been kind of hawking their table, you notice another group that's been standing at the bar has been eyeing it at the same time.
I want to make direct eye contact with those people.
They've been doing it to you too. They've been like eyeing you and eyeing the table, and but you see the people sitting down start to get up, push all their plates to the middle, and they're getting ready to get up and leave. What do you want to do?
I'll put my sword on the table. Not really.
You guys are, your group is about equidistant with their group to the table. It's about 15 feet each to the table.
Kanan speedily dashes and sits in a seat.
Okay. In a blur of fur and quickness, Kanan is immediately sitting down there, just sitting in the table as the other people have just left. If they were to lean back, they would be sitting in your lap, kind of thing. The other people blink and kind of look at your group and then look over at the table and start to move and then see Kanan there and are like, what? They count you all again.
Harriet's gonna do the thing where she's walking pretending she didn't notice this empty table that was just claimed by Kanan very obviously. Like, wow, I wonder where a seat could be. I don't know, this is really stressful. And then like someone gets, oh, Kanan, you've got one.
Okay. You all sit down, and the server comes back up, and he says, "Hey, sorry about that. I know it's kind of busy in here. I got some drinks for you." And he sets down this huge table this huge tray with like 15 mugs of beer on it. He's like, "I'll be back with your food in another 10 or so minutes. Is there anything else you need?"
How much is it all gonna cost?
for all this, a hearty meal on the house, right? That's what you're looking for? House everything?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Sure.
Well, so we'll call it 10 gold, right?
I've got you there. I'll
All right.
give it to you after we get our food, though.
All right. And I'm Chris. You can just yell. If you yell loud enough for me to hear you, I'll come and help.
Is that
And
a
he
challenge?
just walks off.
Maybe.
We just all start saying Chris progressively louder throughout the night.
Chris.
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 Yeah, it's like that other
Chris.
game you play where you don't.
Dragon roar Chris in the middle of this bar.
Use thaumaturgy to make your voice 3 times louder.
Chris!
Power word, Chris.
Power word.
That's funny. Okay. So as you're sitting there, kind of just listening in, you hear people talking about work, talking about, you know, all the random stuff that people talk about after work, right? They had drama, they had whatever. But you also hear a few people getting kind of riled up. You know, they're like, "Yeah, we're from Latchrier. We're the Latchrierians." I didn't come up with a name for the townspeople.
Yeah, you just did, I'm pretty sure.
Latchrierians. And there's you see another table having a drinking contest, and they're like, "This one's to the Shepherd," and they like slam their cups back, grab another cup, slam it back, grab another one, slam it back, and they're getting hyped. But after this, Chris comes back with a massive, just whole table-sized tray of food for you, and he approaches it. He's kind of like, "You give me a hand," gesturing at like the cups that are still on the table.
Of course.
You just grab them
Grab
all
them.
and pick them up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He just sets it down right on top of whatever's left there, and you see some of the stuff spills over just right on top of the other tray. But you have this massive, whole big tray full of like, it's got all these different breads and dishes for like dipping sauces, and it's got fresh food and everything. I mean, it's amazing.
Oh, sounds really good.
Wow.
The Vagabonds.
He's standing there next to you, Kanan, with his hand out.
Oh, right, of course. Thank you very much, and I'll hand him the 10 gold.
Give him a high five.
Thank you for that nice tip. I appreciate that. And he walks off.
You're supposed to leave the tip after the meal, right? I was
I
gonna
think
leave
he
the whole
included the
platinum
tip in
after
the-
the meal.
I think he included the tip in the price, Kanan.
What?
I'm assuming people around here don't just give 10 gold for a random meal.
Welcome to Latchrier.
This is a nice
Oh,
meal.
wonderful.
Whatever, this looks great. You did great.
This happens everywhere we go.
We love inflating the economy wherever we go. It's kind of our thing.
Exactly. Yeah. What if I were to hold on to the gold? The sword would just eat it. Speaking of,
You're gonna feed the sword.
Yeah, he's gonna feed the sword and count his gold pieces to see how much it's eaten.
Over the last couple of days, you've lost about 34 gold.
Oh,
It's not too bad. You also haven't been using
like-
it, so...
that's true. I'm gonna say I lost 50 because I'm bad at math, and that's blood easier for me.
That's
We'll say you feed it.
There you
It's the
go.
bougiest thing I've ever heard. Like, oh, I don't want to do math. I'm just gonna have it eat 16 more of my gold.
A whole new dinner right there.
But these guys seem to know a lot about the shepherd. Maybe after we eat, I don't know, I might talk with some of them about it. See if I can learn anything.
I would just be careful that
They seem to be very enthusiastic about supporting.
if you say the wrong thing, you might get punched in the face, and, well, that's not necessarily a bad thing for you, but what comes after that might be bad for someone else.
If you punch them
Well-
back and kill them,
That would be bad.
I won't be participating in the imbibing, so I'll just learn more.
I'm all for learning more, but also it seems to be the end of their workday and all that. I'm not sure if they're ready to be drilled in historical questions, but ask what you want.
If anyone looks really nice,
Well, gosh, guys, you make it seem like I'm gonna just go up and punch everyone. I'm just gonna ask them what they think.
no, more they'll punch you.
Yeah.
More worried for them that they're gonna punch you.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Well, if they're that hostile immediately, then maybe we should. Anyways, this food's amazing.
It is. Especially after that mush that we've been eating for the last day.
Hey now, I
No
told you it
offense,
wouldn't be
Eric. 2
very
days.
good. I told you it wouldn't be very good.
Darius, I think it was fine.
I'm just
We've just
stating
gone
fact.
soft in Renovage and we're getting bougie. Back in the day, we used to do that all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Look at my
Now look at us.
I mean, it's better than starving, but this is much better than that much.
Than that, yes, much.
I'm not
No, I
trying to offend your
completely agree.
summoning.
Maybe when we
mush or
unlock the
whatever.
secret cooking power part of Holodox, then you never
Oh,
know.
This is
Power
good
word food.
food. Power word food. Use wish, but to get food.
Oh my god.
25,000 gold worth of food.
So your meal is consumed heartily, and Kanan, you're kind of scanning the crowd to see if there's anyone that you could talk to. Go ahead and make an insight check. If you want to go talk to anybody.
I do. Specifically, the guys cheering for the
Sure.
stuff for
Go ahead and make an
Shepard
insight
at the
check.
bar. It's actually just like a random shepherd of the town who did really good business today. And they're like, yeah, the shepherd!
This guy's fire!
Business is hitting its stride.
Kanan, you look over that group and you get the sense that they're feeling pretty good. They slammed about 8 beers each earlier. There's two guys sitting with a group of 4 more, but the 2 guys who were drinking and shouting and stuff, they're really, it's like they're there together, and then there's another group that's just sharing the table. They're feeling pretty good. You get the sense you could probably go up and broach a conversation with them if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna just say, hey guys, I'm gonna go over to that group over there. Watch me not punch anyone, or
Go get
no
your
one
answers,
punch me.
Kanan.
I believe you.
Thank you.
And we'll be right here if they do, so. You know.
And Kanan's walking away. Her friends have no faith in her.
What? That's all we said!
Okay. So, you head over. As you approach, you hear the 2 guys talking. One of them says, I heard there's some bad stuff brewing over in Renovage. Some big upset in the final fight. The other guy says, there's always some big upset at the final fight. And the first guy says, no, this time it's different. There's something serious going on, I can feel it. And the first guy says, the only thing you can feel is the foreman's boot on your ass. And everyone at the table sort of laughs about it. And that's right when you walk up, Kanan.
Kanan's just gonna chuckle. Hi, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm just from the land of Maztica and on my way looking for stories, and I heard you guys talking about Renovage and a shepherd, and I heard that there was an awesome shepherd that led a revolution a while ago, and me not being in town, I was just curious if you guys could help me with this story so I could take it back to my people.
Make a persuasion check. $17, okay. Right as you approach, everyone at the table stops talking and they all look at you. And they just are kind of like, who are you? You're clearly not from here. And they listen to you out, and then one of them says, if you buy us a drink, I'll tell you anything you want to know.
All right, what's your favorite drink?
One of each.
Picked the right
you see
person.
him just trying to, he's just seeing if he can get one over on you.
How about I get you 10 of your favorite drink? I don't want to get one of each. I don't drink.
Oh, I meant one of each for me.
Well,
But
yeah,
hey,
I
I'll
can
take
get
10.
for
Sure,
you.
I'll take 10, yeah.
What's your favorite drink?
Negotiating queen.
My favorite is the Latchrier Noble. It's a beer we got around here.
Oh, fancy. Is that like of the town? I mean, I don't imbibe, but I'd be willing to taste it.
No, it's imported from Two Mage Turn. It's a special blend.
That's kind of funny. The Latchrier's beer's made in Two Mage Turn, but yeah, sure, I'll get some. And then I'll wave my hand at the bartender.
They do not respond.
Chris!
Pardon me, bartender. Howdy. I'd like 10 of your Latchrier beers, plus a half of something of the Latchrier beers. I can't have a whole one.
The guy goes, huh? Do you want 10 or 11?
11.
11 Latchrier Nobles, and he rings this big bell, and you hear everyone go, hey! You don't know what's going on.
How much is it, sir?
10 Latchrier Nobles, you got yourself 15 gold.
And I'll hand him 2 platinum, because that's easier math.
Okay.
Lord!
He takes the 2 platinum and kind of looks at it, throws it in his apron, pulls out 5 gold, and throws it back to you.
Thank you.
She just got around for everyone in the store.
A few minutes later,
Alrighty.
a few moments later, I should say, Chris comes around again with 11 of these beers, and they come in these big, tall beer steins. They're really thin and narrow. You guess there's only maybe like a couple of shots worth of liquid in there, but they're all very funny looking, and they smell like it's like cut grass, that kind of smell, mixed with the kind
nice
of
smell.
weedy hop smell. But
I don't know what hop smells like.
it smells like beer. But he sets the tray down in front of everybody, and everybody immediately just grabs one off and starts drinking. Everybody sitting at the table. He says, all right, so you bought us some beer. What you want to know?
Kanan will sip it.
Tastes good. Yeah, it tastes really good. It's got a nice kind of sharp aftertaste almost. It's like really dry like wine, but it's good.
Wow, that makes my mouth dry. But I like grass. Sometimes I eat grass occasionally.
I like grass.
You're pretty weird, huh? So what do you want to know?
Anything. I've heard stories of the shepherd and such, and I'm just, I mean, what did the shepherd do? Who is it?
Did you grow up under a rock or something?
Well, in Maztica, I don't have a family. I just
I don't
kind
know
of.
what that is.
It's an island. It's not part of the Protectorate.
Okay. Well, here in the Protectorate, we recognize the shepherd for who she really is.
Yeah?
The hero of this land. She saved us from the Clendathian Empire and their evil ways. She fought a revolution to try to get us free and stuff.
Wow. What was it like before the revolution?
Bad.
Were people dying before the revolution?
One sec, and he turns and just hurls onto the ground. just pukes. And his friend slaps him on the back and says, that's good for you. Get it all out. And then his friend turns to you and says, before the revolution, things were pretty rough, you know. A lot of... You couldn't, believe the stuff you wanted to believe. You couldn't do the job you wanted to do. You had to everybody worked for the government, and it was really bad. And just a lot of bad stuff. And they tried to redistribute food and water and It just ended up in a lot of people, like, starving to death.
Wow.
They would just take food from, like, Halistan and Kamsal and send it off to the big towns, That's not good.
And the Shepard of Fire stuck it to him?
But yeah, she got some lieutenants under her, and she raised a big old army, and I was just a kid, when this happened, but she raised a big old army, and she fought them all over the place, and, a lot of people died. It was really sad, but, she cleared out this whole area, all the Tired Protectorate, and kicked them out, and, now they stay in their area, and we stay over here, and everybody's really happy.
Wow, where's the shepherd now? Could I meet her?
Nobody knows. Some people say that she's fake. Can you believe that? Some people, and he turns towards the rest of the crowd, he says, some people think the shepherd's fake. And the whole bar goes, "Ah! To the shepherd!" And they all raise their glasses and take a sip. "May she protect us from our enemies," somebody says.
Hayden's gonna get really serious and say, "I promise you, I know she's not fake." But I mean, some people are crazy.
Whoa. Hold on. What do you mean you know she's not fake?
Oh, well, I've spoken to some people, asking stories about her to hear the things she's done, the things she could do.
Well, she is pretty cool. And I heard. And he just slams head down on the table. Just passed out.
Any of you guys know what he heard? She'll look at the other men.
They look towards each other and they're like, I heard he's gonna have a hangover tomorrow. As far as the shepherd, yeah, there's lots of legends and rumors. You hear all kinds of stuff. She was supposedly some big, powerful wizard or sorcerer or, whatever. I mean, you can't just shoot fire out of your hands on your own. You gotta have some kind of magic to do that. But yeah, she really did a lot of cool stuff, from what I can tell. She killed an angel. She would like.
What angel?
I don't know his name, but yeah, she killed an angel.
Wow, that takes a lot of power.
Yeah,
I heard that the guy ruling over Haversteep is an angel.
Well, yeah. And everybody knows that.
So would the Shepard of Fire kill him?
Well, no, he works for her. Or at least he used to. I don't know if he does anymore. Nobody knows what happened to her.
So she's still alive?
Nobody knows. I think she is. Most people here think she is. Most people in most Latchrierians think she's alive. But, no one's seen her in, 5 years. 10 years,
Where was
maybe?
she last seen?
It was during some big fight. The last big battle with the Clendathians. There was a big fight, and then she just, wandered off into the sunset.
Into the sun?
No, the
so
sunset.
So an angel?
The sun goes down, at the horizon line. And...
Oh. So all of these commanders under her that you talked about, do you know who they were?
Well, some of them are still around, the heretic up in Haversteep, he's still around. I thought there was one in, what are those assholes towns called? Falderstep. They don't support the Protectorate. They were supposed to have one. I don't know if he's still there, though. I don't know his name.
What?
Then there was this guy in Renovash. He was supposed to be one. Pretty much all the major cities were supposed to get one. That was like their pay, you know, for being good lieutenants. They're supposed to get a whole area and be in charge of.
Did they have names? I mean, I've heard of people like the heretic and the prospector and the merchant, for instance. Is that all they were known as?
Oh, I don't know their names. That sounds like a pretty cool idea for like a book, though.
Yeah, that's what I hope to make someday.
Well, you should do it. I'd read. If I could read, I'd read it.
It's so easy to learn how to read, you just do it.
Oh, it's easy to learn, you just do it? Oh, yeah, it's so easy. Who even needs to read anyway? It's like hard, and who cares? I can just have someone else read it for me.
You know, I'm sure the shepherd would want you to read.
You didn't even know who she was before you came here.
Maybe.
See? All that reading didn't help you one bit, did it?
Well, I hope you enjoy your alcohol.
I will.
And
he grabs a whole one and just slams it. Read that.
There's nothing to read there.
I know.
Well, what did the shepherd look like?
Fiery,
This is my
I
last
think.
question. Bye. Kanan's gonna turn around.
Okay. Cool.
Well, Harriet, Sirius, and Ira and Varus.
How'd it go?
About as much as you could expect from a bunch of drunk guys.
It looked like it was going pretty okay.
I mean, there was a lot of talking, but not much anything new. I learned a bit more about the Clendathian Empire.
Oh?
Yeah, they were really controlling over people. They controlled their beliefs as well as what work they had and any food that they had. Like the government could ever know how much you need to eat in a month. But anyways, and then of course maybe the shepherd is a wizard or a sorcerer of sorts. And that she killed an angel, and the last time she's been spotted is 5 years ago. That's all the new stuff I've got.
So it wasn't unsuccessful.
Not unsuccessful, but it didn't go anywhere. It
I mean,
sure
it went
helped.
somewhere. They've got drinks over there now. Is that new?
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. It tastes like grass, so if you're feeling sick at all, you could drink that and feel better.
Kanan, I really respect your worldly knowledge a lot of the time. But I sometimes...
eat grass.
I got it. I got it. I'm picking up what you're putting
leaned
down.
in really close. Because cats eat grass.
Thank you for explaining that one, scholar. But,
What did that reading get you?
what did that reading get you, kid?
Cats eat grass.
Just
Well,
be careful.
We'll be in that.
It's gonna down one of the 11 things that's on the table that we haven't touched.
Okay. As a side note, Kanan, you did also learn that people are talking about stuff happening in Renovash, just as a reminder.
Oh yeah, I forgot to write that down.
Oh.
So word is spreading,
Um,
but
Also, people this far have heard that something's happening in Rinavash. So I wouldn't be surprised if we end up having a similar situation across all of the Protectorate, like we had in New Calamond, where our portraits were up on display. Because
Maybe that'll actually be good this time.
Yeah, we should have, used a different group name in the ring.
What?
Because, now they're just going to be like, the Vagabonds did this. And then people are like, oh, I know who the Vagabonds are.
Or we could rebrand now.
What would we... I mean, that's so much work. We've already got merch.
But we look the same, and so many people have seen our faces, not only in the ring.
We could be
but
any
in the
group
merch.
of elves, tieflings, dragonborn, and tabaxi for all they care.
No one's seen a tabaxi unless they're in Falderstep.
They just aren't looking hard enough. It down another drink.
It could just be a coincidence, you know? No, but I think we could rebrand if we say that we're not the Vagabonds, you know?
What do we rebrand as? The Settlers?
We could... Okay, think about it this way, alright?
Bandits.
No, in Renovash, we talked about claiming our baggage, and we have claimed our baggage, so we could be the baggage claimants.
No.
But like a gold rush claiming? But baggage?
Sure.
I think it's a little late to rename ourselves.
And this is the perfect time to rename ourselves. If we're wanted, this is the perfect time to rename ourselves.
Yeah, but they have our faces.
Yeah, but are they going to send our faces across the country just because we took down a city?
Yeah, but people are magical.
Yeah.
It's easy to... Unless Balthazar somehow helps to slow it, but I doubt he will without any kind of pay.
We gave him a city.
We did a lot for him.
I don't think our faces are going anywhere.
And if they do...
Then we can just make our faces not look like our faces. I can make my face
Kind of
not look like
hard when you've got a snout.
Oh, I can make you look different. You'll still be a tabaxi, but I can make you, I don't know...
A different tabaxi.
I could make you green.
They're gonna be like, that's the Vagabonds. They're just slightly different colors.
Yeah, see?
That looks a lot like Harry, and she's just blue. And that looks a lot like Kanan. She's just black now. Like, what? That would mean you'd have to be like a...
Tell the difference? Look, these people are stupid. Would anyone really be able to tell the difference?
We're stupid!
Exactly!
Zarius and I had no idea about this town. We tried to figure it out, and it was written on the back of a map.
And we took down a city. We're stupid. What does that say about these people?
We just might want to be careful going forward. And, I mean, it seems to be a theme that there's, tunnels under these towns. So maybe keep our eyes out for that. They seem to run betwixt the towns as well, so they have quite the bigness to them.
They do?
We did meet a friendly tree root that for a price might help us figure out where is what.
What are you going to pay a tree? Out of...
Well, he said...
Manure?
The tree that I talked to when we were coming out of the thing.
That's easy to get.
Can you hear me?
Because he's... Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, my headphone just died.
He said he literally spread his roots from Verstel to here. That's farther than Falderstep. Maybe
Does have
he knows
anything to do
something.
with going to have a seat?
Well, no,
could
it's,
ask.
his roots go far if we were looking for tunnels or something. That's what I'm getting at.
I don't see the
That's
connection
smart. Should
If
we
anyone
ask
would know where
before we go
underground-
any farther?
If there's anything that would know where underground tunnels are, it's something whose roots are in the ground.
there. How do we know there's more underground tunnels?
Well, I mean, they've been in most towns we've been through.
They have?
Have they?
I think.
I didn't notice any before this.
I mean, there was this whole underground thing in Rinavash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
where we
there's a
just
whole
were.
tunnel thing all the way this way.
Yeah, that's where we just were.
I'm sure that Nos probably had tunnels that led out of the city, but I'm sure if there was one that went all the way to New Calamon or all the way to Havesteep, we would have taken that tunnel instead of the one that led out here.
You're right. I guess I just let my mind get away with me with the idea I was talking with Harriet the other night. That maybe during the revolution, they used all these tunnels.
Maybe.
That is a good point. I mean, it's entirely possible there are.
Yeah, we can keep an eye on it.
Asking the tree wouldn't hurt if you want to.
That's all the way back there.
And yeah, we'd have to go across the river, which we'd have to wait for
Maybe.
the tide to be low. Which
Aren't
would
there
probably
other
be another
trees
couple
you could
nights.
ask?
I mean, if its roots are there, maybe there's roots under us. We could just dig.
I could try.
That's a joke. I don't want to dig.
I'm certainly not strong enough to dig.
And Naira, could you ask, like, rodents?
That's
I
actually
could
pretty fun.
try. Yeah. I mean, there was the rat nests that I'm sure we could have asked, but we're a little past that now.
There's other vermin around.
There has to be a
vermin here. It's probably
Yeah, right
in
at
that
this
corner.
table. I'm looking at one, and I point at Varus. Elbowing.
Zarius,
Yes,
the person who
the person.
contacted you,
Yeah, I need to talk to him.
yeah, should we check in?
Yeah, I've already
Not
decided.
right here, right now, but like
Yeah,
when we...
I was
settle
gonna
in.
wait until we were in a room or something, but I
Yeah.
did have a rough idea of what I want to say to him. I don't think I'm going to tell him we're on my way yet. I think I'm just gonna be like, "What do you want? Why should we come? Like, because we barely know the guy. So maybe we can suss out a little bit more information instead of just walking, if it is a trap, face first into the trap."
Speaking
That's a
of
smart
rooms,
idea.
I can cover rooms for the night. I don't mind.
You hear at this point Chris say, "Last call. If you're staying, you gotta get a room. Otherwise, you gotta get out."
I raise
Don't
my
cue,
hand and
Varus.
call out Chris's name
Okay.
in a louder voice than I
Chris.
would straight through my.
Chris.
He comes over. Hey, so you all staying in town for a while or what?
Yeah, we are. Just for the night, I think. And how many rooms do we need? 3, 2, 3,
3 rooms.
1, 2.
I'll share a room.
Yeah, there's 5 of you. 2 to a room. 3 rooms.
Sure.
Good
All
math,
right.
sir.
That's 2 gold each, so 6 gold for that. And if you need supplies, are you traveling?
Yes, please.
All right, 10 gold for 15 days of provisions.
Oh, perfect. So a total of 16 then.
You got
Here
it.
you go.
All right. Takes it. Said I'll have the supplies dropped off outside your rooms in the morning.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris.
Yep, you got the rooms upstairs. It's the only ones that are open, so go ahead and go in whenever you want.
All right.
Cute.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye. He goes off to like clear all the other drunks out. At this point, most of the tavern is emptied out.
Probably go to the rooms then.
Cool.
Maybe
I
I'll
can talk to Chris.
cram into one room for a little bit.
Yeah, as you
Split
go up,
up.
you go up the stairs to the back. It's a nice like wooden stairway. The whole place is very homey feeling. You see in the rooms they're all the same. They've got 2 beds each and a large barrel that serves as like a nightstand / table. And each of the rooms is on the side wall. It has a window that goes out with bars on it. But you have a view of a brick wall on the other side, so they're not great, but it's a window.
Score.
Yeah. And there's enough room in them that you could all go into, no problem. It'd be a little tight,
Yeah.
but you could do it, no problem.
So once we're all in one room,
Group huddle.
Hello. 2 things. One, I'm going to get into contact with Octorus. 2, we should probably think a little more on which path we're going to take. to actually get to Havesteep? Like, are we stopping city per city? Do you want to avoid New Calamon? Probably. Because, I mean, looking at the map, it looks like this road that we're near right now just goes straight through New Calamon. So we'd probably be either on less traveled roads or crossing through borderline wilderness.
I mean, I was just looking at the map. Maybe we could go to Halliston, and then from there go north to Noriel. Bounce from there, you know?
Yeah.
And then we avoid New Calamon entirely. And
But
that
rather
comes
that.
up in my head that, you know, sometimes there's like a
So
being in the back of my head that
Like a
just
light
tells you
bulb.
when-
They just.
Yeah?
Yes. Is that fetch?
Is that Fetch?
Probably.
This is an image of Fetch giving just a solid thumbs up.
Yes, Varus.
Good work, my son.
What?
That's a minion. I mean, if Fetch is telling us to, maybe we shouldn't.
Anyways, I think this is a good idea because then we avoid New Calamon and don't have to deal with that. And, you know, we can get to know some more people in cities. I mean, most of us aren't local to this place. Maybe there's people there who will know things about shit.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
And then Matt.
Yeah,
just to
avoiding
be-
New Calamon's definitely on my list of
Yes.
goals.
This yellow bit's probably a desert, right, Matt?
Yeah, so the terrain kind of shifts from like a grassy sort of grassland area to more deserty. It's not like sandy, but it's it's
Okay.
desert. It's like wilderness, like
Gotcha.
in like Idaho or Nevada
Like
or
Colorado.
Yeah, it's that kind of
Yeah.
not Nevada. Sorry, it's that kind
Gotcha.
of yeah.
Just kind of like open fields, yellow grass.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Still hot.
Yeah.
Snake. Getting the provisions was definitely a good idea if we were going to do that, but
Yeah, I'm glad you recommended that. I probably would have forgotten.
as much as I love eating dirt turned into bread,
It's not that terrible. It's just pretty terrible.
yeah, it's just pretty bad, really.
It's the aftertaste that gets you.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you put it in your mouth and there's nothing, and then like a minute later you just you get that, right?
Yeah.
I get it.
Anyways, so are we all good with that then?
I think so.
Going to Halliston and then Noriel and then Havesteep?
Yeah. Do we know roughly how far we can travel in a day?
Yeah, so Halliston is about 3 days' journey for you from Latchrier. From Halliston to Norial is about another 3 days from there. And then from
3 days.
Norial to the actual Haversteep gates is about another 5 days. So total
Gotcha.
journey, if you're to follow that path in green right there, it'd be 11 days of travel.
Then Tetrapan, and then Two-Base Shirt, and then...
We gotta go to Two-Base Turn. I won't.
Yeah.
We gotta do it.
At some
gotta.
point we gotta.
We
Yeah,
gotta.
I mean, I'm pretty
Player
sure
me
there's
is
a
saying.
pretty sure there's a vase there, so Zarius is down. Or Timid's Tail is what he wrote.
Famous elf, wizard, sorcerer.
Yeah.
Just wait.
I've got Haversteep Gold
I'm
Mines,
ready.
Hollow
Yeah,
Slopes,
buddy.
Old Mage Tower, Two Mage Tail, and then I also have Outside Small Town. I don't know what that one is.
That's
So,
the one.
I might have to rewatch that episode.
Outside small town.
That's all I wrote. Okay. Let's see.
I'm satisfied with that. So then your first order of business.
Is to get in touch with Arcturus. So Zarius will
rummage through his bag, probably spend a couple minutes trying to find that sending stone.
Yeah.
'Cause he's never touched it.
Not this.
Nope. Nope, didn't even know I had that.
Harriet's just holding half your step.
But once he eventually finds it, he'll use it and send a message to Arcturus.
Okay.
This is Arcturus, yes? What is this situation you speak of? And why should we trust you and run to your aid?
That's kind of all he has room to say.
Okay. Arcturus, a couple minutes pass before you get a response, and when he does reply, it's in very quiet tones, like he, probably ducked into a side room or something like that, and he's speaking very hushed so that he's not overheard. But you hear him say, "I heard you can be trusted. I heard what you did in Vanavash and what you did to Corzin. We need that kind of help. Please, I can tell you more in person. Meet me at the Xenia Library outside Morstad." And that's it.
Well, he's definitely heard what we did to Corzin and Nas. Whether that's good or bad is kind of hard to tell. He said that they need that kind of help.
And they were killed?
Probably on the same level as Nas and Corzin, if I had to guess. Maybe it's this angel fellow, maybe it's someone else, I don't know.
Well, we're pretty good at killing people.
That is true. But he also, he was at Corzin's party. So...
You were at Corzin's party.
So were you. That's where we met. I'm just saying there's that chance. Who knows? Maybe I'm still working for Corzin. I've got to jump in.
Oh my god, it's him! The hand grows, like, Sirius's hand changes.
He whips his hand around.
Damn it!
Actually, when
Zarius.
When Corzin stabbed Zarius, he secretly killed him and then became him.
Oh boy. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Well, I honestly don't have a problem going there, because it sounds like we're probably, a lot of signs have been pointing there for us to go there, so I don't mind going there. Even if it is a trap, we can just kill people and get out of it. Usually works. It's worked so far. So,
well, in that case, should I let him know we're coming?
I don't know if you need to do that tonight.
I have the ability, not for this stone, I think these work once a day, but I can just send a message.
Were we worried about them knowing? Did somebody express that notion? Worried about
Yeah, I
them
was
knowing
originally,
for sure?
but if we're not worried about it, it's a trap.
I'm not saying we shouldn't be worried that it's a trap. I'm just saying that if it is a trap, it's fine.
Okay.
But if we want to keep that secrecy, I don't think that's a terrible idea. If that's what we want to do. I'm not the best at this sort of things. My thing is killing people and looking nice.
You do a very good job of it.
Yes, I do. But that's all I do.
Well, then we can leave him out of the loop for now. Is there anyone else we should reach out to that know we're alive, at least? With how everything ended? I've got a list here of our friends now.
I was gonna say, maybe just go through the list.
call in case of survival.
Yeah.
Zeris, did you ever meet Wayland?
Very briefly, I believe he was at that party too, yes? And then he left. He gave something to Kanan and left.
Did you ever send him something? A message? Do you think?
I could try. See what happens.
Isn't that where he's going? Kanan, you were the last one to speak to him.
Kanan.
I apologize.
No worries.
Will you say that again?
Weren't you the last one to speak to Wayland? Isn't he going to have a sleep? Or have a sleep?
I mean, we spoke to him as he was leaving Falderstep, but that's the last we spoke to him. Was that Wayland?
That was Demixis.
No. Oh, that's Demixis. Ugh.
He's dead.
Demixis is dead. Wayland. Yeah, Wayland was breaking through whatever Corzin put him through.
At the party, right?
Yeah, and he gave me that book, and I was an idiot, but yeah, I don't know, that's the last I talked to him. He seemed pretty much in his right mind, but...
And he said he was heading to Haversteep?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Iron Legion from Haversteep, the guy that was kind of in charge of the group, I forget his name. Lycan, said that he knew Wayland or knew something of him. And I meant to talk to him again, but there wasn't really opportunity for me to do that. With Nas taking him kind of under his wing that last dinner.
Can shoot the both of them a message.
Would it be a good idea to talk to Lycan?
Probably
I'm
not.
sure that's
but
smart.
Don't worry about that. I think maybe
just Wayland.
Wayland, though.
I can give it a
Wayland-
shot. I'm not too familiar with him, but
I feel like that might give us away, because Wayland didn't seem like he would be in his right mind. I mean, Corzin had a hold of him like, I don't know, Wayland was wrapped around his finger.
Coulson's no longer.
We don't know if his magic can still hold. I
But
mean,
if
if
he's
his
not
hand is
around-
still holding.
Who would Wayland tell?
Yeah.
I mean, all of the cities are working together. Of course, they're individual. But if Corzin was sending him to Haversteep, my best guess is to work with Tadriel.
This sounds like a very
wouldn't-
worst case scenario.
It
I
might be
think we're
safer
kind
to
of at
assume
that
that.
point.
Might
of
be
worst
best just to
case
talk to the
scenario.
people we really like right now, I don't know, we don't need to be making all these calls. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to
Just
call
thought that
Jen,
if we
make sure
did
she
want to
knows I'm
talk to her-
alive. And that Nos isn't. I took his belt to give her someday.
Maybe not then. Maybe just go to bed.
At least not Wayland. I don't know. We don't know what frame of mind he's in, and if there is anyone who's taken Corzin's place or who's in control of him at the moment, it may not be best.
I'll probably make some tea, though.
I could do for some tea.
Tea would be good.
It was great.
Okay.
Been a while.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to rush anyone, but I think that's a good place to call it, and we'll pick up right before everyone goes to sleep. I start a new job where I start working at 7 a.m., so
Woo!
we might start ending these
Yeah.
sessions at 9 instead of 9:30.
Good luck.
Yeah. So, but I appreciate it. Thank you for watching, everyone. I had a great time. Everyone, thank you, everyone, for playing, especially. Really appreciate you all being here and taking part in this awesome, fun journey that we're doing. So much fun. Thank you for all of our viewers watching, and we'll see you next week at this same time, 5:30 on Saturday night.